Soldier.
We back for the third time today. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit confused. So I had seen Uber before I even knew that this woman was gonna be talking. Some I think I don't know why the hell I was on IG and he popped up and I just was scrolling and I seen the name in a couple posts, but I ain't pay attention to it until after it hit me when I was on the last live and I said I was gonna talk about this. So this is the woman that the interview she just did a couple hours ago was her first one, according to her. When dude asked her, she said that was her first interview about this shit. But apparently she got Umar attention. He decided to put her on blast on his page. I gotta see what date this is after I read it, but he slick doxed her. He got the name, Kansas City, Missouri, Philip all there. He got her sending him a message talking about, I can't keep substituting my cravings. I'ma suck on you or suck on these lemon pops. Personally, I think you got someone, a superhead draining your testosterone. Tease. And my nigga said, at ease, my queen. What do you mean you want to eat up the pre? Bro, you was fucking her. Stop it. Oh, so he just put this up yesterday, so he knew it was coming. He went on a preemptive strike. I gotta say, what do you mean? And he did another one. What this would say? Hold on. Let me zoom in for y'all. I miss you. Save me a hug. I want to swallow you. And he said, fire. Fire. What she said, I want to swallow you. I love those deep moans, she says. I know you mad at me. I just want to make you happy. She mad because I won't let her eat up the Prince anymore. So if she mad that you won't let her eat up the Prince no more, why in the hell are you talking about slow down, sister, in the post before that? You let her eat you let her eat it. Where she said that she missed her son's IED appointment at the school to come meet him. And she said she was sending her son in the place. Kobe's going to do his meeting. They knew I was out of town from the phone meeting I had here. So they're allowing him to do it. But Chunk did this on purpose. I know it. Like, how old are you? He's 16, not 8. The one thing he had access to. I don't know what Chunk is, but let's read Umar. Umar said, this woman, Siobhan, is so trifling. She missed her son's IEP meeting to come to Philadelphia. She had the nerve to tell me her other son, who is a young adult, was going to stand in for her at Chunk's IEP meeting. Are you serious? Your son has autism, is always in trouble, and willingly missed the meeting to taste Shango stick in Philadelphia. But you hit though. If you live in Kansas City, Missouri, and know Chunk is father, please have him call Dr. Umar. I will help that man get his son's IEP services in order for free. He needs to get custody of his son from this woman. You have a lawsuit against that school. However, Siobhan is too thirsty, chasing penis to help her son. Umar just didn't hold no punches. He just came out swinging. Forgot that when she showed that booty. Oh, that haircut is cute on you. At ease, my queen. Boy, you hit. See, he doing all this extra shit and he fucked. I see what he fucked because he saw that ass. He was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, he Umar was on one. I guess I put that other. Which one I put on? Oh, leave that one up. Oh, I don't know what that is. I didn't try to hit Frederick Douglass. And Umar was telling niggas, if you tell me happy, if you don't get your ass up out the country with that bullshit, You been rich 10 years and you still over here, motherfucker. Take your ass to where you want to be. Okay, and let me find this damn IGO. Actually, I don't need to stop sharing it. We don't need Siobhan. We don't need her up there no more. Take it. No, it doesn't work. It's gonna. Nope, they all gonna be the same. Why won't it move me? I'm trying to get it to move my icon. It ain't doing it. All right. Where's the video? Y'all give me a second. I gotta find it. I was watching it earlier. Here we go.
This is Lene. Lene claims that he or she,
Lene,
has been inside of Umar Johnson's mother's apartment. Okay. Yeah, Lene, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so it's a sister. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Okay, so what can you share with us based upon what you're claiming your experience of? I would assume you've dealt with Umar, or at least his mother.
I've dealt with both, and it's been probably about 2.5 years. So my first experience with him was I reached out to him, and with my son introduced me to his work. So I just sent him I love your work. Would like to work with you. I had a couple of things on the phone. It was some months. He got back, and he asked me if I could do an event in my city, if I could put something together. My son, I told him he could have it because it was really his deal. But I helped him. I assist him because my son is young or younger. Okay. So he's like in his 20s, early 20s. But we went up, picked him up from out of town, and brought him back to our city. We put on an event. Got to get to know him a little bit before when we had a tragedy that befell afterwards. One of the orators, a small town, there was a tragedy that happened to him. Mm-hmm. It was a really bad situation. I took it hard. So the father unalived himself, the son, and the mother.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was bad. So we started. Well, we were talking by the time he was leaving out of town. He wanted me to come to his room.
Girl, we saw them damn messages. You was throwing yourself at the Prince of Pan pizza.
I declined. I've never been like that. I declined, but we kept talking. For back rub, so he said.
Okay.
And we just kept talking, just texting. I was trying to get to know him. He wasn't really my type, like from my exes. He wasn't really my type, but I felt like, how he was a nice guy, maybe the geek type, and I needed to give it a try. I didn't know what the hell I was getting myself into. So time went on. We linked. After some time, he was very. When I met him, and I got to bring this up. When I met him our first time linking, he was very like me. He was nasty. He was not anyone that I would ever deal with. I don't like mean men. He wasn't kind.
That's what Q said, but she married the nigga. And as we see here, you was just wanting to still slurp him up.
He was not the person that I dealt with when we were doing the event. Almost to the point I almost called home and was like, I need to get the hell out of here. But he simmered down, and then I left. I stayed up there probably about 4 days, left, came home. We continued talking. And then I went back out again. I felt a little bit more comfortable. He kind of calms down when he sees that, he's kind of setting you, off a little bit. And I just kept going, kept going back out there. And eventually, we used to sit on the phone and talk. The one thing that hit me, like what the information man was saying, that he's really correct. Everything that he said, I had told Umar, but his ego is so extreme, he doesn't listen. He doesn't read rooms quite right. He just kept giving me a vibe about him, but he never took it to the extreme that it went to. He called me, he said, I think we were on the phone for some time. We were like into the second hour, and he was like, I need help with my mother. And I was like, oh, okay, you know. And this is unusual for him because he does not, everyone that is around Umar is kind of like Umar. They're very petty, they're very mean temperament, like they have that mean temperament. So when he asked me that, I think that he thought I had an angle. I didn't have an angle, that's just, I've done that for my friends, not anything to this extreme, but I felt like he's an older woman, you know, he's trying to do something good. I wasn't giving him any money. So I said, you know, hey, it's a human being, absolutely, I'll do that. It went from bad to sinister. He was very kind when I was coming out this time. Well, he was kind in bits and pieces, you know. You just never know. He's like,
hold on. Yeah, ma'am, when you say when you came out that time, when you say come out, you mean you're going to Philadelphia?
Yeah. I kept born back from where I went to Philly. This is probably like my 5th trip. And so then
she must have, because this was 8 hours ago. She must not have known she got doxxed yesterday. We know you in Kansas City, baby. It's all on this IG page.
I get there, I know everything. I get to the hotel, and he comes to the hotel and he takes care of.
Did he pay for the hotel?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
He paid for the hotel, and then where I work is
whole game.
What do you need? And you only have one single sink. Why do you have
He went to his ops.
20 sink stoppers? So I'm a minimalist like you, Lennon. So I need a test box. And I put the sink stoppers except for 4 because I felt like I was going to minimize them down. I asked him 3 times, was he okay with me doing this? And he's like, yeah, whatever you need. Everything's cool when he needs something. So I put the remaining ones in a box. And then when he came back in, I think he went off. This must have been a trip to Michigan. When he came back in the house, he was just on 10. And I was fighting him. I was like, no, it's not drugs. It's not drugs. Lennon doesn't. But he is on something. He's on something hard. Because he was like on 10 and we were in front of his mom. And he was like, don't sit down, I'm not going to talk to you. And I just went over there and sat down, which is not necessarily my personality, but you got to understand, I'm in the state, I don't know anything about anybody there. I had trust in this person, was going to be, level-headed. He's not level-headed, and it's just, I just did what he said. So going back to it, like the floors are really bad.
But you can't. Which time was this? Because you kept going back and forth. You said y'all had got comfortable. You went several goddamn times. So which time was it that he told you to sit down and you were scared because you was out of town and shit of that nature? I'm just saying.
Need a power washer. I said, you need a power wash for floors. We need to, wash down the walls. I clean home. I keep home. So we got to wash down the walls. You can get a portable washer and dryer to put in the upstairs bathroom where I thought that tie-dye thing is. I think that that's the upstairs bathroom because when you go up the steps, he has a crying room there. And it says ancestral spirits and it's a door. And I opened it, but if you go around the corner and you go to the bathroom is kind of like a stand-in bathroom. And there's 6 chairs there. And then I think the tie-dye thing is over the shower room. And then if you keep going straight, that's his room. His mother sleeps downstairs. So it's like one of those things that carry the elderly up the stairs, but he doesn't use that. I think it's broke. She never goes upstairs. So the refrigerator was the problem. So he wanted me to give her like these 5-star meals, which I am more than happy to do for her. But he didn't have the type of groceries in order to fix the meals that you need to fix in order to give her that type of, So you could tell he was kind of like getting information from me, buying food, because none of the stuff matched. He had way too much food in the refrigerator. It was like, and then the refrigerator hadn't been cleaned in years. In years. I'm not exaggerating. In years. So the first thing I noticed is that he had like cleaner mixed in with her apple juice and her pineapple juice. There was like, you know how you go to a mechanics, like a mechanic shop, and you look at the floors? That's how the floor of the home is. And that's where there are all these cleaners. He doesn't buy one, he buys 10. So he's very, very bad with money. He doesn't know what to buy. He just buys everything. Like he doesn't have 1 or 2 cayenne peppers. He has like 30. And then he doesn't have things that you're supposed to have. He has a huge thing which he called me about this. Probably about the size that you would put winter coats in, those big plastic container things, full of just tea. And he called me. He was like, "Where's the tea at? What did you do with my tea?" And I'm like, "The tea's in there. How can it be missing? It's huge. It's bigger than the dining room table. What are you talking about?" He just left it at that. I know this is not like all put together, but it's like off the top of my head. But he does have a cleaning service that picks up the laundry, and I was saying that.
Oh, okay.
He like, shit, talk, shout, I'm here. Just talk. I ain't got nothing to say.
Okay.
I believe that they come and pick up the laundry. They fold everything up in clear bags and they bring it back.
Okay.
But there is an abundance still there. You know, her check for her I think they're called diapers. If those aren't correctly, she can have an accident. So there are times when I had to take her nightgown or change her bedding, and then you have to hang them in the back so that they can dry because there's no washing machine that you can just take it to it.
I don't necessarily agree with the title. The title of this video is Umar Johnson manipulated black woman into taking care of his disabled mother while he traveled. She didn't get manipulated. The motherfucker did it because she liked the nigga. It's as simple as that. He didn't threaten her or nothing. She liked the nigga. That's how she got up with him in the first damn place. She liked him. So she was doing it for her boyfriend, for the nigga that she liked. No goddamn manipulation. They done ran wild with that fucking word.
Put it in, you know what I mean? So you won't get things piled up. It's a bad situation. It's a really bad situation. And it just got worse. Every time that I left, I went out there, I think 3 or 4 times to take care of her. She was fine, but she has dementia. And explaining dementia to someone, he's like, "No, she doesn't have it." I'm like, "Yes, she does. And she has to be changed 6 or 7 times." So me and her are sitting there laughing and joking, and I get real sad because I'm like, "Oh my God, she doesn't even know why I have to go in and change her and make her upset because she hates being changed. She will fight, she will cuss, she will she gets upset. She does not want to be changed, but you can't leave her like that." And he has a camera up. It's a very obnoxious situation. It's not set up for the person taking care of her. It's set up how he wants it set up. Everything's out of order. You don't know where it is. You're trying to hold the pull up on her and look for more wipes because nothing is where it's supposed to. It's just complete disarray. So the last time I went out, he came in. He comes in sweating, snorting, going ballistic. "Why isn't the dishes done? Why do you?" And so the last night that I was there, I didn't drop her, but she slid from the bed to the floor. And I'm like, "Oh my God, where are you?" I couldn't get in touch with her because that's another thing. You can never get in touch with him. You can't have a productive conversation. And I don't have that much experience. Let me tell you, I work. This is not even my skill set, But I did the best that I could. But I'm trying to ask him questions like, "Where are certain things?" And he doesn't answer the phone. It's like he's out. And then you'll see him on live or you'll see him taking pictures or something. You're just completely out there with no help. And then he'll call you maybe the next day. So he left me there. I didn't leave. I was in the house for 5 days in the field. And I'm like, I can't do this. So as soon as he came in, that's the day that when she slid down, she was getting dizzy and she was like, "I want to sit down." I said, "Well, you can't sit here." So she just went down to the ground and she's like my size.
Man, I would have texted that nigga, "I'm going home. You better come get your mammy." That's what I would have did to me. I was in there for 5 days in filth. That's your crazy ass. That ain't your damn mama.
So I had to call the ambulance, but I played it very good because he doesn't want. When you open the door, you have to turn off the lights, you have to open the door, and you have to look out. And you can't leave the door open that long because he's very paranoid about what goes on. You cannot let anybody in, and you cannot leave out of the house. So when the paramedics came, I just acted like, "Oh my God, my mom slid down." Shit, they didn't even take my name or her name. They just helped me get her up and get her back on the bed. When he came in at 2 a.m., he came in the house, walking fast, busting through. I'm sitting.
The paramedics showed up They ain't take no report. They ain't ask no names. They just helped you get in the bed and left. That sounds like some bullshit.
It's like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm trying to think about this. I have been up for her every 6 hours. I have to, or not every 6 hours. I have to battle her 6 times a day. I'm tired. He's like, I'm about to put you on a plane. I said, you know what time it is? And then he's like, well, I went up and I went outside because I hadn't been out, outside. So I go outside. I'm getting fresh air, like trying to clear my head because I know he's about to be a head case. And then I come back in the house. He's walking back.
Oh, man, it shouldn't matter what time it was. Act like you was sick of that shit. You had been in there 5 days in filth and you couldn't take it. So why does it matter what time? It sound like you wanted to still be there. Couldn't have been that bad. The filth and all.
He's like, you got your stuff together, you ready to go? Are you ready to go? You ready to go? I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on with you? He hadn't even took off his stuff. He had already wiped her, put a pull-up on her, and he was like, are you ready to go? He said, and that's what ticked me. He was like, get off the phone, because I called my friend, and I was like, he's here, and it's about to be some mess. Now, mind you, no one knew that I was dealing with this man. They thought I was dealing with that guy, quote unquote, guy. So when I was coming off from outside, he was like, get off the phone. And I said, I'm gonna call you back. So I got off the phone. I said, don't talk to me like that. What do you need? Like, what is it? He's like, I'm about to put you on a plane. I said, well, it's 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And he was like, you have your stuff together, you ready to go? And I was like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Because at this time, it's 5. I've been in the house for 5 days. I'm willing to go anywhere. But he didn't say, hey, I know you've been, cleaning up somebody. You got urine.
But why you care about what time it is?
Whatever else are you? You look crazy. You want to get yourself together first. None of that. He was just like, you gotta go. I was like, okay. So I left and went through.
You being in the house and you wasn't taking care of her like every minute. You mean to tell me you couldn't do whatever it is you said you needed to do? You weren't already clean? I understand you saying you maybe was in some sweats, but you wasn't clean. That's a bit weird as well.
The airport, looking crazy, smelling crazy. He didn't care. He was like, what are you upset about? I'm like, you don't realize, first of all, he didn't even want to talk about what happened. He didn't care if she slid down. That was like a big deal. He doesn't care. We've had other incidents. We just had so many incidents where he was like, I hope you don't have men in the room that I'm paying for. And I'm like, I don't have men here because I don't know anybody here. And he's just obsessive. He's very obsessive about things. He's very controlling about things. And then when you don't do what he wants, he basically stops talking, and then he'll pop up with something else, and it is, it's just what it is. It's a mess. You can't ask him. You can't ask him anything about anything because he doesn't want to talk about it. He was with the perfect person to get that school up and running. We never had a productive conversation about the school or about anything else that he was trying to do. When I talk to him, he says I'm catastrophizing. I'm not catastrophizing things. I'm trying to get ahead of a problem. He likes to let things go until they fizzle out of control. When his daughter came out, I was at his house. I knew nothing because I'm not an internet person. I didn't know anything about it. And he was like, well, my daughter called me this morning. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And he's like, I'm not dealing with it. I said, oh, you got to deal with it. Something's wrong. Something's very wrong. His anger and his followers have made him like that. He doesn't care about them. They call from the time when I used to come up and visit, they would call, they would test, he smacked his teeth, he'd be like, I'm not dealing with that right now. He'd get into it with people. He's been in so many altercations or had so many issues with people, it's just unreal. It's unreal. He's a liability. He doesn't keep you on your toes. I didn't know if the family was going to show up at the house when his daughter came out. I'm calling him back. I'm like, what do I need to do? And he's just like, he doesn't care. If anybody, his brother could have showed up, anybody could have showed up. He doesn't care. That's him.
All right. Well, there's a lot of questions in the chat. Do you mind answering a few of these?
Yeah, I can't see the chat, so I'll go back and
okay. No. I've been typing them out. Okay. So the first question. This is the question I want to ask, just so that we have clarity on this. Were you intimate with Umar? Was it like a relationship thing?
Yeah, I didn't want to marry him. He wanted, I don't know what he wanted, but he wanted me to have a baby, and I didn't want anything with him like that. It was just supposed to, be fun. You know what I mean? And I didn't know he lived like that. I didn't know he acted like that, none of that stuff. It didn't get really bad until I got to the house. Once I got to the house and he said, "You with me now," and nobody else has been to I don't want to say that level, like it's somewhere to aspire to, but nobody else had gotten it close to him. So I think he thought something else was going to happen. It wasn't.
Okay.
He wanted us to rent a house together, and I was okay with that on a roommate situation because they had a dual serve, but I couldn't deal with him. I felt like if I got him to a clean environment and I could set the house up, he would be more productive because clearly he can't run a household on his own.
Yeah. Yeah. How long did you know him? From the time when you met him until, I guess, the last time you were there to help out with his mother?
So this December the 23rd, I'm sorry. December the 3rd was the event. So I knew him probably since November of 2023, I'm sorry. All the way clear up to, well, he knows now.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many times did you go out to Philadelphia?
Oh, I want to say maybe about, don't hold me to this, y'all, but probably about 6 or 7 times.
But she ain't know he was like that. 6 goddamn times. She ain't know he was like that, G. Come on now. Were you intimate with him? Yeah, I ain't want to marry him, nothing like that. Well, at least she said she ain't want to have a nigga baby neither. But yeah, she was like, nah. And she was honest and said it was supposed to just be fun. I was just getting dick. That's what it was. She liked the dick. She went 7 times for it. She ignored all the other shit because the dick was good. Because if the dick had been hold up. Well, I'm assuming the first time she went to the house, maybe they went to the hotel, but maybe the second, whenever she met his mama and she seen the house, I'm sure she ain't just stay 5 days with the woman on her second visit or third. So it was some type of, you had to meet her, y'all was around her, y'all bonded type thing going on for you to even be comfortable doing it. But yeah, you knew how that nigga was living it out of that shit. You didn't care. I just want to know what precipitated this here argument. Apparently, whatever happened though, you must have let him know what you was finna do. Or maybe he was watching Leonard and heard Leonard say he was gonna have you, because he pretty much, he spent the block yesterday. He got ahead of y'all ass.
For him.
Okay, and he paid for the airfare each time?
For some of my airfare, but he would buy dinner or whatever else.
Okay, then what about though? Because didn't you say he had you in a hotel room?
Yeah, when it was on his mother, he paid for everything, even my phone bill.
Oh, okay, okay. So was there at any point did you actually stay, like sleep at his mother's place?
Yeah, I stayed there. These were times when he was out of town.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. And why did you decide to take care of his mother? Because that's one thing. One thing is you're dealing with Umar, he's bringing you out, you're in a hotel, but it's another thing to actually take care of his mother. Why did you decide to do that?
I think that's just how I am. Okay, so this is gonna sound corny, but I am a single mother. I know what it's like to not have like conditional support. And I felt like the school wasn't getting done because he hasn't had anybody, because I was talking about haters and all this other stuff. I felt like he didn't have anybody that was there that was just riding for him unconditionally. And I just felt like that was one way I would be able to help out unconditionally. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it's not, I mean, I've babysitted my friends' kids and stuff like that. I'm not above the ass.
Okay. No, I understand. Now, Umar, he is on record saying that he wanted a woman, or he wanted queens, like 2 of them, that would help take care of his mom. I actually have him on record saying that years ago.
Yeah.
So, what you're saying here, I'm not surprised by it at all. I'm not saying
he's not capable of
100%. But I understand that. But I'm not saying that what you're saying here is 100% factual, okay? Because I haven't vetted enough. But I will say that what you're saying is consistent with what Umar has actually said in terms of the type of woman that he wants. He wants a woman that's going to not only take care of him, but take care of his mother.
Yeah.
The question was, what was the longest period of time that you stayed there to help his mother?
Oh, I think I stayed there 5 days when he was in Switzerland. I think I was there for about 5 days. And then I've been there, in hotels. Like he had me come for one event, and then I stayed in the hotel until, the next event, because it would be pointless for me to come back to my city.
Okay.
I thought I was giving him enough time to vet out. I understand how delusional, now. I got it. But at the time, I was thinking that he didn't have time to vet women out, and I didn't want him to get someone in a space that was going to do harm when I was a supporter. You see what I'm saying? I felt like I knew what I was about, and he knows I'm trustworthy. That's why he put me with his mom. But you know, he knew I was a good-hearted person. I'm a good person, but I was really, really lost under a delusion.
Yeah, you believed him.
I did. And I sacrificed my job. Like I said, I worked for the government. I did an event. I had people coming from my job, and I don't just work for, I work for a part of the government. We have to be kind of above board with who we deal with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Okay, another question is, well, this is dealing with the actual space itself. Based on my research in the floor plans, there's only one bathroom upstairs. How does the mother get upstairs to use the bathroom?
She doesn't. She uses a porta potty that's by the bed. The mom never goes upstairs. She never.
I figured that.
The stairs are really high. They're like wide and very steep. Like I had yeah. But there's oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
I think it's just like the feedback. But yeah, there's 2 rooms that are upstairs. One room, I believe, is his shrine. I looked in it, but I didn't go in it because it didn't look right. It didn't feel right. And I just didn't go in there. I felt like that was his space, so I didn't go in there.
Do you think that the mother needs assisted, what they call assisted living? This is a question that someone asked, assisted living, or she needs to be in a nursing home?
He won't do it though. She needs to be in something that calms. She needs some help with being calmed because she is confused about why you are changing her and the reason why you're doing this to her. And you can explain it to her, but she doesn't understand. I think that around people that are skilled in that would serve her better just for her nerves. I could have handled, working with her. It's just the fact that it was upsetting her with laughing and joking at the television. And I'm like, are you wet? Do you need some help with being changed? And she's like, no. And I'm like, I think you do. So, and then you have to put her through that all over again. And he's just like, he's numb to it. And that's a lot of a liability for me. If I would put too much pressure on her or anything, that's a liability for me to keep. And that's what I was trying to talk to him about, like, help him see some reasoning. He doesn't. He got into it with the agency that sends her nurses because they were trying to tell him the same thing. If I look through my text, I could probably find the lady's name, but they fell out. And he was like, I'm done with him. And I cut him off. And I'm like, yeah, you can't do that because they're part of her health plan. He doesn't care. Then he accused me of taking the rental car keys. I was like, Umar, I don't do stuff like that. I don't know who you've been dealing with, but I'm not the type of person. No, I didn't take your rental car keys. They're somewhere in the house. I think he gets high and he forgets what he locks up, where he puts things, he gets out of it. And then that's when the fighting starts.
Yeah, has he ever been aggressive towards you or verbally or physically violent towards you?
He's just verbally abusive. He's he's smart, but he's verbally abusive. He can cut you down with his mouth. He gets nasty. I don't think anybody has, what him and Steady, what happened between him and Steady? That was him like at 5. And then you're dealing with a man who has super issues with his mother, and me being in a position to take care of his mother, and you can't talk to him. He's like, it's midnight. Why is my mom up? And I'm like, she's on her own cadence because you have not set up anything so that she can have a routine. He's like, turn off the lights because he can see from the camera. I'm like, she stayed up last night all the way till 3 a.m. She's gonna be up later tonight. I mean, what do you want me to do? I can't be like, close your eyes. He's just aloof to certain things, and he doesn't listen. So that would trigger him to blow up because he's thinking you're trying. He even told me, he was like, give me a hug because I don't want you to hear hurt my mom. And I'm like, what do you think I am? I don't need your space. You need help. I don't need to be here. If you feel like I'm gonna do that, send me home. I would never do that to anyone. I'm not that type of person. So that put me in a space of a liability. I was talking to my best friend. She's like, yeah, no, because he can get weird. And
keep in mind, this is nasty house and all, and she still dealt with him.
I heard you about his mom, and I was like, yeah, I'm starting to see that. But he kept calling me back out to take care of her.
How did he treat his mom? Did you observe him and his treatment verbally in terms of taking care of her? How did he treat her?
Directly.
Was he calling you out to fuck you or to take care of his mom?
he treats her, you know, very good. It's a very kind of, in my opinion, kind of like, I don't want to say like with the sexual innuendos, but it's very normative. It's not, you know, if you have a healthy relationship with your mother, it's over the top. It's really over the top. And I was like, well, she needs a sliding board because I can't lift her. Because I was doing research on how to take care of her. And he was like, anything from mom, anything that she wants. And I was like, okay, well, then she needs a sliding board. And we need to start cleaning up this damn house because if I fix her food out of the refrigerator and she gets like E. coli, she's like a baby, you know, that really hurt her. He's fed. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. Were there roaches or anything like that inside of the home?
I didn't see anything like that.
Linen ain't shit.
The only thing that I saw were the flies, and I attribute that to the fact, like if he was doing sacrifices, and if you're not cleaning up properly, you know that could turn into something else. But I never see.
What did you see dealing with the sacrifice stuff? I know you said you looked. He had a shrine or something like that. Did you see anything else?
I didn't. I know that there was some stuff on the back patio. So he was doing something out on the back patio. When I was going out there, he was doing his sacrifices, maybe out there.
Okay, what did you see? So you're saying you didn't see him doing any sacrifice, but you said something was going on that was, I guess, I don't know.
It's like weird. You have flies. Like, what is that? I don't understand. Like, these are colder months. Why do you have fly tape, tape up hanging from the ceiling? Or, there's flies going around. Like, there's something somewhere not right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it could be just because he hoards. You know what I'm saying? It may not be that he's sacrificing. It could be that, and he may be because he's talked about doing sacrifices in the past. But
yeah,
it could just be just all the living conditions themselves, the filth and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm eager too. So on the back patio, it just seems like he was trying to do something out there, but I'm not sure exactly what it is. I mean, and it could have been something small. It could have, I don't know. But I never saw anything like something that needed to be properly disposed still sitting out, if that makes any sense.
No, I understand. Did he pay you, and how much? If he paid you, how much did he pay you?
He did not pay me regular, but he paid me for like one sitting. It was like $1,200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how did he pay you? Did he give you cash? What was it?
We did Apple Pay.
Hey man, this sound like this about to sound like this nigga finna be set up like Diddy. He paid her $1,200 to sit there. He paid for the room. We flew her out. She was sucking his dick. Oh, it sounded like he finna get Diddy.
We did Apple Pay.
Okay.
No, it wasn't Cash App at that time. It was Apple Pay because he sent me a text. Yeah, it was Apple Pay.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, just like a lot of the stuff he says that his followers believe, like he celebrates. He got me Valentine's. He said he got his mom Valentine's. He celebrates. He watches. He's a normal person. When he goes on things, he turns into. It's kind of like Beyonce says she turns into Sasha Fierce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when he gets in front of cameras and stuff like that, he turns into
this Jane Doe number
like
one.
That girl that said she had lunch with him. She said that he was real quiet. He is. He's quiet but he has a very slick mouth. Like he'll say something like, "Oh, you'll bump your knee and be like, oh my God, like why would you be so stupid?" It's like it's constant things like that. And his mom would say a lot of things when I was taking care of her. Like he calls her
Yep.
So I would call her and she would say things like, "I broke his thumb." And I was like, "You broke his thumb?" And I was looking at his thumbs. I'm like, "Why does his thumb look like that?" And then she calls him black. But I don't know if that is something that is an inside thing.
You finally made a live yours truly.
But that's what she calls him. She was like, "Here comes Black." And she was like, "He's so fine, but he's conceited." So she's kind of there, but she's not, what I mean? When it's time to change her, she gets fighting mad, and it hurts your heart, because you got to do it, but she just gets fighting mad. And then she's said a lot of stuff, like her birthday is in January. She repeats her birthday a lot. You can tell she was a very intelligent person. But she's going through dementia. He sees her having dementia as her having a weakness. And I'm like, that's not a weakness, I don't think he has any plans of going to Africa. Some people wondering if he's going to take and sell the school. He's going to run off to Africa. He said that he didn't want to take her there because of malaria. For a chance of her getting malaria or something. So I don't think that's the end game for him. But we're here. It's like,
well, listen. Yeah, let me say, I have a whole lot more questions. How much time?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just
Okay, no, it's perfectly fine. I just want to respect your time. Did you ever try to get help dealing with the mother situation? Because it sounds like it was really, really bad.
He did not want me to. I asked him, I said, I have this girl that I work with. I trust her with my kids. I said, she's taller, because I'm not that much bigger than his mom. She's taller, she's kind, I trust her, and she's quiet, you know? And he was like, I don't use people I don't know. He was just he kept telling me, nobody has been next to my mother. Nobody has been next to my mother. And I'm like, you know me, you know, I'm going to take very good care of this woman. I take very good care of you. So just leave it be. Don't stress it. I think I don't know what his problem was, but no, I couldn't get any help from anybody. He didn't want nobody in the house. Even if there were packages, he was like, open the door, get the package, and hurry up and shut and lock the door, turn on the light. Don't touch the neighbors. Don't talk too loud. I couldn't have certain conversations unless I had him in the bathroom. And that's why I said also, I think that he was in the bathroom. He doesn't talk all around the house on the phone because the walls are very thin, and the people next door, he said, I don't know if they know who he is, or they don't like him, or he's already been into him or something.
Yeah, I would think that they would know that who he is by now, though, because he's been there since what, or at least 2020 when we first started seeing him inside his mama's house. That's about 5 years. I'm sure they probably, if it's the same residence, there could be people moving in and moving out.
Yeah, because even at the hotel, he was like, when he came to the hotel, people knew who he was. Like, I think that even the workers, they kind of got used to me. They knew who I was there with. So they would like, you know, do certain things, like I would get certain things, but he thinks he's in hiding or something with ball caps and hoodies, but you know, people know who he is.
Yeah. What about the apartment itself? Did it smell?
It did. You get used to it. You get used to it.
Yeah. What did it? I mean, if you can give it
It's indescribable. It's like, oh my God, it's indescribable. It's really bad. It smells like, it doesn't even smell like old people. It smells like a mechanic shop.
That's
like a
describable.
mechanic shop and baked bread. But he has a lot of food like open, like there's just a ton of food in there. It's a ton of food, but it has a very stale type of smell to it. It's indescribable. And I can just everything, all of the product, all of it is, it's like he doesn't have one bottle of deodorant, he has like 30 bottles. And it's with everything. It's a massive, massive amount of stuff. It is a massive amount of stuff. It's like they're living it's like they're living inside of a storage unit.
So Umar has a history of that though anyway. He really does.
Yeah, he put me on the thing to do the furniture for the school. And he was like, well, we'll just go to Big Lots and we'll get some furniture. And I'm like, no, Umar, you can't buy furniture for a commercial building from, like, you have to get high traffic furniture. And he's like, why? Why do you have to? He just doesn't have common sense. That man does not have common sense. God gave him wrong. He is not an intelligent person. I had to tell him you can't use bleach in the school. Why can't I use bleach in the school? Because you can't use that on some commercial, surfaces. It'll turn it yellow. I hadn't been in there, but I was trying to tell him he wanted to get scouring pads to sand down plaster on the wall. And I'm like, no, you can't do that. Most people understand the integrity, of the scouring pad. It's going to unwrap. He just doesn't have common sense.
You know what, I'm thinking about this. Years ago, I used to see someone posting, I think it was on King Kong Consciousness, the YouTube page. They were posting comments like, Umar, he's a controlling of his mother. He keeps her in this apartment, and she's sitting in her own feces, and he won't let anyone see her. Was that you making those comments? This was years ago.
No.
Oh.
I just got to the mom this year. But I will tell you that he was telling me when he came to the room, we were supposed to go out to dinner, and I didn't want to go out to dinner. I limited my time with him because he's abused. His mouth is atrocious. And he was like, you want to go out to dinner? I was like, nah, I'd just rather, stay inside and get something to eat. And he was like, well, after we had woke up, he was like, you're the only person that can get my mom healed, like her bone healed. Because she had, I don't know if they were decupulous ulcers, but they're,
Jesus.
Where, like if the skin starts to break under urine.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just clean her up. And I told him these baby wipes, we need to switch from the alcohol. Let's try to get her one of those bathtubs. The portable bathtubs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we could just put it up to the bed. We can bathe her right there. That way she doesn't have to do bed baths. And then we can get those large wipes that they use in, I'm trying to find the words because it's not my career field, but they have larger washcloth like wipes that you can use on bed bound people. I said, we can use this. And he's like, no. Anything that I gave to him, he would like shoot it down. If I tried to send him something where we can turn her easier, you know, he didn't want to buy that. Anything that I came up with, he shot it down. I've been trying to let people know that he is a bad person, but nobody will listen. They won't listen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my earbud went out.
Are you okay?
We'll get her root support. Oh, I'll get that quick. Is anyone else helping? Brother?
Man, they're probably not listening, because if the nigga hadn't stopped fucking with you, you would still be there, ma'am. That's why ain't nobody listening. Because prior to him breaking up with you, you loved that nigga dirty drawers and dirty apartment. Clearly, is what you're saying. How the hell he a bad person and you went to see this nigga 7 times? And then you said you just got to his mama this year. So all the other times it was just dick.
He has a lot of siblings, maybe even his dad.
They fight, so they can't be.
And she let y'all know she got perks off the Umar Johnson name. The folks at the hotel started recognizing and was giving a little extra mints and towels and shit. Y'all peeped that?
A funeral for, I guess, his Aunt Sheila. He called me, was like, should I get security? And I was like, well, trying to give him advice on that because he doesn't read situations well, but he doesn't listen to you anyway, so it doesn't matter. I said, well, if you go with security, they might take that the wrong way. He's like, well, every time we get together, we fight.
And so good security for what? For him, so he's safe from siblings?
Yeah, they fight. Oh, them some battle cats, Lennon. Oh, they fight.
So he was asking you about security.
Yeah, he was like, do you think I should get security? And I'm like, on your siblings? And he was like, yeah, I don't want to be, you know, every time I get near them, we get into a fight. And I was like, they might take that the wrong way. If you show up to a funeral, they might take that as hostile. Mm-hmm. And maybe you might want to reach out and, you know, check the temperature a little bit. He didn't want to do that. And then he don't give you like a follow-up, like, oh, went to the funeral, when, you know, everything was great. So, and if you ask him, he's like, you're in his business. Like, dude, you brought this to me. I'm trying to, I don't know. It's crazy. He's off the chain. But pretty much everything he'll come to you with if he trusts you.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever see him with kids?
I did at the event.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You know how you kind of gauge if a man is good or whatever. Kids kind of weren't born ballistic with him, so I was like, oh, he might be a good person. I've never seen him reprimand a child. I know my son stayed in the car. He didn't want to have anything to do with him. Not the one that was putting on the event, but my other son, that is kind of the reason I even reached out to him a little bit. And I could never talk to him about my son. So I took care of his mother, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe we're level now. And I said, hey, I'm having a little bit of a problem with my son. It's kind of like if you're a mechanic and you got to check engine light, or you're dating a mechanic, you got to check engine light. You naturally might ask him, you know, what, you know, to diagnose the problem. You know, he didn't have no words for me. So I was like, then this is pointless for me. Even this is kind of what solidified he was not husband material.
Bam. Clearly, I don't know. You must not have seen what he posted yesterday, but the nigga clearly showed where you sent a picture of the test, your appointment. I don't know how you had a copy of it and even sent him that if you was in Philadelphia, but he showed it. So you definitely talked to him about your child. He saw your child in the car, but you ain't never talked to him about him.
And that's cool. We could live together on a roommate situation because my son he's in his teen and he was born to his dad. He diagnosed the problem. And he didn't have no worries. Kind of like if you're a mechanic and you got to check engine light, or you're dating a mechanic, you got to check engine light. You naturally might ask him, you know, what, you know, to diagnose the problem. You know, he didn't have no worries for me. So I was like, this is pointless for me. Even this is kind of what solidified he was not husband material. So I'm like, oh yeah. then that's cool. We could live together on a roommate situation because my son he's in his teen and he was going to his dad. I said, yeah, we could live together on
He ain't husband material, but we could live together as roommates. Even though you're not a good person, and you still would be a mean person as my roommate.
a roommate situation, but you're not a possibility for me.
Why don't you keep going back? Because obviously you probably identified some problems initially when you went out there, let's say the first couple of times. Why'd you keep going back?
Because I think kind of like you are, Lennon, you know how you...
She liked the dick, Lennon. That's why. She liked the dick. She won't just say it.
To points where you get compassionate because that's just what you are. I think that's why I felt like if I can just prove to this guy I'm not here to hurt you or to harm you, he will let, because he kind of makes you feel like he was brought up under strategy or really bad pretenses. And maybe he just needed somebody, a good person to kind of like lay everything down and not to open up or anything for me to, get closer, get at him just so that we can move forward. And he doesn't have that ability. He sees it as weakness. So when you feel compassion for taking it easy, you have to remember he is the type of person to be like, yeah, he is suck. You know what I mean? Like he won't ever see it as like, oh, thanks, man, that's good looking out. He's gonna be like, oh, yeah, you a suck. You should have went for the judge. That's the way his mental. I don't know if that's his dad in his ear or his mother in his ear, but he is just not somebody who takes. This is kind of why I followed him out for this long. When this came out, you don't understand how much that broke me. I have it. And his cold disconnect, and even when he sent those people to his baby mother, you don't know if your daughter is with her or not.
It couldn't have been a disconnect. You were still talking to him after that. You said, nigga, y'all had a conversation where he was like, my daughter outed me, and you asked him what he was going to do, and he said nothing. And you kept talking to him. So how was it a disconnect?
He sent people after me. He doesn't care. And he doesn't care. I plead with him, I play with him, get people out of my space, get people out of my space. He doesn't care. So I just decided I'm gonna have to go to war with him. That's the only way I'm gonna back him up. He's like one of them people that if you, oh yes, okay, yes, absolutely, anything you say, he'll keep on. But if you say, hey, I say don't do that, he'll back up. And that's kind of why I came in the house and I was like, don't talk to me like that. And then he piped down, but you can't go easy on him. You can't go easy on the things that he said about these people when they called in with issues about the children. He has no compassion for it. He sees you as weak. And it's another reason why I never took any problems in him about my son. That man doesn't have none of my personal information. And
well, apparently, you just said you never talked to him about the child because you couldn't. Now you're saying he ain't got no compassion, and that's why you didn't talk to him about the child. Yet he clearly got your hands in a letter explaining what was going on with your son IEP, and they knew you was out of town.
Then he's in trouble because Pig does already attack my son. I mean, it would be done. I knew what I was dealing with, so he didn't pose a threat to me. The only reason why I didn't want his people in my space is because I guard other people's private. He's not the only known person I deal with, and he sends people into my space. You are opening up for other people's information to be bothered, and I didn't want that. So he just didn't pose a threat for me, but he works my damn nerves.
Hey, nigga, do you work for the government or do you work for famous people?
And the black psyche is so fragile. They wanted this man to be Martin or Malcolm, and he's not that person. Everything the information man said is absolutely right. He is playing a character. He gets off there, he eats chicken nuggets. And he's not anything glad he wants to be worshipped. And that is literally how, even when I made up my mind, I'm done dealing with them, I even still was going back into the space because I wanted access to him, because I was like, nobody was going to believe this unless they see it. And I was going to get him. But I decided this was a better way because he's not going to let me in the space. I've already shown my hand.
Well, it's better that you're not dealing with him anymore anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what we'll talk. So are you saying, to the best of your knowledge, his siblings aren't helping with the mother, or are you saying that they want to, but Umar won't let them?
I think he's using her as a pawn. The same way he claimed that those baby mothers were doing his kids, he's doing that with the mother.
Mm.
Because why can't you tap in with any of the children to get help with taking care of her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't the family come forth about it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Do you have plane ticket proof that you could send me?
Yeah.
Okay. What about hotel receipts? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
He knows I got a lot of proof on Umar Johnson. I think that's probably what stalls him out on.
Oh, tomorrow his page gonna be lit. Hey, it might be lit tonight, just cause. Like I said, this is 8 hours ago. Hold on, let's see what they talking about live right now. 55:45. Let's see.
Be hitting the butt, and if he can have them spread about.
Currently on the second live, it says Survivor Umar Johnson, part 5 of 5. Lene returns and she has all the receipts. So we're gonna have to put some shit up on the screen. And they've been live for 4 hours thus far, plus the other 2. He probably watching this shit. Oh, it's gonna be spicy tomorrow. I got y'all. We got content.
So then he would have that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He just wants to, like, all he sees is booties. I don't know what he's a booty guy.
Yeah, well, that's why he always says 5'5" thick in the thighs, and he talks like that, and how they have to have a big butt, and this kind of thing.
The most I was interested.
He got a big ass, and you had enough ass for him. You sent it to him. You knew what he liked. Hence, we seen the picture of your ass on the counter. That's his preference.
Been doing like with the sensory deprivation. I thought that
this is real time.
Me to find the girl, so you have to do all the work, just like he told the live. He wanted you to find the girl, talk to her. If that's what she was good with, then introduce her to him, which I don't know how the hell that was going to play out.
Well, see, typically, men that tell the woman to go find the woman is smart, because if you find the woman, it's gonna always be some shit. She gonna want to know why you picked her, or she gonna find every reason in the book to not like that person. But you don't have to have those issues if she picks. That's typically why. But listen, now she was down with all this shit. Now he's a bad guy.
Because how can I take a woman that doesn't know who she's going to go lay with? Let's be honest. Who's gonna sign up?
You tell her it's Umar Johnson. What the fuck? You tell her it's Umar. Me and my nigga Umar wanna fuck you. It's pretty much all you had to say. Actually, he's famous
for that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not really into women, because if I get one unclean, and then it's gonna mess things up for me. So I'm just a germ thing. It's a situation. Who knows? I don't know what'll happen, but for right now, I'm just not really all that.
Y'all know we doing a part 2. That's what they doing live right now. I'm gonna flip back to what we were just listening to.
Umar Johnson. I think that's probably what stalls him out on me.
Now, did you ever see Umar use any substances, like illegal substances or controlled substances, or any alcohol?
No, he is too paranoid for that. But I do know he wanted me up out of them spaces real quick. Like, you don't have no time. I could barely get my shoes on. He wanted me out of those spaces very quick, but only to meet up with me later on. So it's not me. You know what I'm saying? He needed me. I don't know what his thing is, but I know that his behavior is erratic, it's manic, it's not normal. And even the way when we're texting, sometimes this is not you being busy. This is something else. Mm-hmm. You're off doing something else. I think I even have a text where I text my son, like, hey, you're going to have to send somebody, to pick me up from the airport, because I think he's on something. Mm-hmm. This was the first time we met. That's how much his behavior shifted. Like, you sitting there sweating and breathing hard, like, A bull? Like, what's wrong with you? I don't understand it. Like, tackle me any moment. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Yeah, is this the first time that you expressed publicly your experience with Umar?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do it now?
His daughter.
Okay.
His daughter.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
His daughter came out like 3 fucking months ago.
I asked him, let me take care of your mother. I asked him, I said, please, let me get in there. So let me bring her where I am.
He's a bad guy. He mean, he a narcissist, he don't listen. But he had you on all these projects and took them. And then you asked this man to let me get your mama and your daughter. Let me get them. I can get them back on track. But he's a bad guy. What the fuck? This is crazy. It's good, but it's crazy.
Help her out. I can get her together and I can give her back to you. This isn't about trying to talk off of whatever story she has for you. We weren't in any space like that. We're here. He knows why we're here. But I was trying to earnestly help her. He knew that I was the person to get her to if he was really trying to help her. And he didn't want it. And that's your baby. That's your daughter. And she got in that fight in Philly. And even when she checked into the mental hospital, I'm like, that's your perfection. If you can't even show up for her as her father, you can't show up for her as a clinician.
Yeah.
You know, that's a disconnect. I know I ain't got nothing coming. So yeah, I'll go to this net.
Yeah, real quick, just for clarification purposes, when did you first start dealing with Umar? Meaning when he came out, and then when was the last time you dealt with Umar?
Let me get the phone records for that. Let me see. I've been spazzing on him since probably about all month.
All month?
He sent me the last text I got from him.
All month, motherfucker. It's just July 4th. 4 days.
What day is this?
Friday.
I can't even see because I done put all these notes. Was it June 17th? Well, June 17th, I had an issue about someone sending me a threatening text from 215 number, 215s, 267s, all of those. I keep getting people texting me, threatening me. And he said, not my people, random men you meet. Now, which is, not people know me, no, that's not true. The very first time I dealt with him, it would have to have been in maybe November. Without me, I've been texting this man like 50 texts a day we just talk on text. That's literally how we talk. Maybe 2023, and I've probably been out there. The event, I know that the event, you used some of the footage from the event, that was December the 3rd. And then.
And what event was that?
It was an event in my city where he came, he wanted to do a book signing. We did an event and I offered the space really to Black vendors. I was trying to get them in the space so that they could sell some of their merchandise. So we had an event that was December the 2023. So since 2023 up until June the 17th, and I put it on 2 days after that. I've been trying to get in touch with you, Lennon. I sent you a couple of, but there are different random things because I'm trying.
So she knew that was his nigga. She knew it was his op. And that's what the first place she ran to give an interview. His top op.
Keep him off of my trail, but I sent you a couple of emails. I don't think that you got them though.
Some of that adds too. Did Umar ever actually sign timesheets for caring for his mother?
No.
Okay, so it was just, he asked you to do it, he decided to do it, he did send you, you said $1,200 bucks?
Yeah, I have a few payments for $1,200, one for $6 something. I even offered to take care of her for free.
Yeah, at any point did Umar, or did you take her to the doctor to get checked out?
No, I never left the house with her, and I wonder about how often she leaves that house. Because I was in here 5 days, I was about to pull my hair out. I was in the house 5 days, and I don't know if she left the house anytime after that. That's a long ass time to be in the house.
Yeah.
It's not your house, maybe not my house. You know?
No, I understand what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, does he have power of attorney over his mother?
Yes, he does. He has to for some of the things. Like he takes her to, that's why he sent me the text, and I have that in case he tries to say that never happened. He sent me a text claiming that I stole the car keys and he can't leave because his mom has a doctor's appointment. But you never know what's alive in him. You know, he lies so much. He lied so damn much. He sent me a text telling me he wasn't going to be back on time, and he forgot that he had already made an excuse previously for why he wasn't going to be back on time. So and here's another thing. I don't know if this is from flying around. He needs to go and see a neurologist because he does not remember things. He ended up going off on me, and I was like, Umar, you were in Massachusetts yesterday. I was at the hotel, and he was like, where were you yesterday? Where were you? I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, I don't know where you were yesterday. I was like, you were in Massachusetts yesterday. He's like, oh, yeah, I was. We've had incidents where if somebody wanted to get pregnant by him, they absolutely could. You know, because I have had to be the person to keep track of things with him because he just doesn't care. So he probably does have kids out there.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. What do you mean by that, though? That he could get people pregnant? What were you saying there?
I made sure that I was I'm very proactive about my health anyway, but I made sure that I took care of certain things. I won't go into detail, but he forgets. He just forgets. And I'm like, what if this is one of those randoms, like that girl that came to Savannah through the back, you know? She absolutely was with him. Because, and I know that I was looking at the footage because I was in the bed with him. And I said, that's what I'm saying. She's telling people to get these penises out of her face. It's almost like she's having a traumatic experience. And he's laying there just knocked out asleep. And I'm like, hey, get up, get up, get up. Did you see this? Did you see the footage of them dragging her out? Why did you let them drag her out like that? You know, if you weren't with her. Like, hey, y'all, take it easy with her. They're falling all over her. She's still a woman. And he just didn't want his cover to be blown. And then when I seen the stuff happen with his daughter, and I seen how he treated the girl Anaya X, I was like, yeah, this is you. This is you. This is you. You messed with this girl. And I was on the phone with him in Savannah. So he must have got off the phone with me, let this girl in, and then was messing with her. Telling me that he was, and I'm not trying to make it out like he was messing around on me or anything, but he just lies. He lies and lies.
You are making it seem
He'll
like
take you to pull the hotel footage. And yeah, nobody's going to do that. You're nobody that they're going to keep hotel footage. That stuff goes on a loop. You know, and then I don't know, I can't say for definite, so I'm not going to speculate, but I think he knows where that money went. I know he knows where that money went. They need to investigate. They need to figure out. He needs to stop accepting donations.
Yeah, I agree. I have to ask, since you were intimate with Umar, he does have some issue going on with his. Yeah. What would you
I've already been on it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I went to as soon as, but I heard about that from Hidden Figures. I ended up telling my girlfriend when I told you I was on the back talking to, I ended up telling her who it was that I was talking to. And she was like, girl, he had a bump on you. Mind y'all, please listen. I knew nothing about Umar prior to the day that I went and picked him up in Nebraska. I knew nothing about this man. Only little clips and stuff that come across.
How you go pick up a nigga in Nebraska and you ain't know nothing about him? That's crazy. Who believes this? She met him in 2023. In 2023, she just knew she was going to pick up a nigga. She ain't know nothing about him, no. She ain't Google him or shit right quick.
My feet. I never went back. I took everything that he told me at face value because I, like most women, assume this man is educated, he has things to lose, he's not going to lie to me about certain things. I never went back and investigated anything with him. I took everything he told. I didn't even know about the conscious stripper until we actually had linked up. And I'm telling him, I'm talking to him in text. He can literally tell that I don't know anything about his past. I didn't know anything about Tip the Grip. I didn't know nothing about none of these people. And he didn't offer the information. He didn't say, hey, go look at this. I just didn't look it up myself. And not until later when things, I was like, why is he so mean to me? And I started looking things up. Then everything started unraveling. I didn't know nothing about the Goonie Goon Squad, none of that. I didn't know nothing about it. They on my trail, but I didn't know nothing about any of that. Just being blind and dumb and just taking stuff at face value.
Yeah. So you did get yourself checked out.
Absolutely.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. What was the final straw that made you stop dealing with it?
The final straw was, of course, his daughter. That was the first one. Then we had another incident where, you know, he kept sending people in my face. That got out of hand. People were like calling me, sending me texts and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know anybody in Philly, so these are your people. And then I started watching your videos and I started, matching it up with what I've seen myself. And I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, and I should mention too, because people were asking about text messages. You did send me quite a few text messages over the last, I guess, couple of weeks. So I get to see those. Yeah. Some of that asked too.
Everybody.
I remember that.
Yeah, everybody, all of that stuff. And he sends the stuff to me. So I've seen things myself. I've seen what women have sent him. I'm just waiting on them to pop. I don't know why these women have not came forward, especially with the situation with his daughter. I don't know about you don't know about me, but I've already seen everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
there are women who come out in the past. Some of them I've actually interviewed. You know, and I would welcome any other woman if you have experience with more men for that matter. You can reach out to me if they want. Again, I'm not here to say that everything that you're saying here is factual, but it does line up with my research. And since you dealt with them personally, that I actually do believe you in terms of dealing with them personally, I think that there's credibility here that people should at least consider. Someone that asked the question, I know this may sound a little petty, but did Umar stink when you dealt with him?
No, he didn't smell wonderful either. But I felt like, he wasn't like, ooh, oh my God. It wasn't one of those. It wasn't one of those that I'm important. So I just, I'm betting on the smells and all that. But he wasn't anything like that. Of course, we took care of ourselves, like, and stuff, like, and I'm OCD about my body. That's why the skin color, that's hit me through the roof. So he got like a 10-page dossier on that. I mean, he knows about how I am about my body, about bodies, period, even his mother's body. And I'm a very clean person. I do not play around, and I don't do. But he didn't have like that smell, like. But he didn't smell like a fat. He didn't smell like he looks.
Don't do that.
He did not smell like he looks.
I'm only asking because
He do look like, my mom looked at me like, "You're playing. This is not the guy."
Someone James that asked, I don't know if Umar mentioned me or anything, but did he say anything about me? What did he think about me? If he did,
oh my God, I can text about you, but I didn't send it because he give him the text talking about Lenore. I was telling you Lenore. And I was like, Lenore was right about you. Look at all this shit I went through, and I see him so much stuff. And when I go into that, he goes quiet. He stonewalls me, and then he'll come out of it. But he was like, let me tell you what he said. Oh God, don't make me say it. I hate saying bad things about people. But he was like, I think you have a 20-year-old baby mother, and who was Lennon Honor. And then he said, good girl every day, beautiful. I need you to relax 1 month at a time, please. And then he asked me about a damn vest. Hold on. He said something about you being gay and messing with little boys. And I was just like, okay, that doesn't sit right with me, because anytime you're if you're gonna attack a man, you're gonna say he's either gay or he's a pedophile. So yes. I just immediately crossed that out. I said, okay, he's cool. I can go there. Because I wanted this to be, and I seen you report with some type of decorum, some kind of integrity. It wasn't about, trying to just be, catching clout. And I can't explain to y'all how much I feel bad that I didn't do something or come out when the situation was going on with the baby mothers and Anissa. I felt like I'd be overstepping if I walked into it trying to grab the spotlight. You know what I mean?
I understand. Mm-hmm. But
I wanted to speak up and be like, no, that's not what happened. This is what happened, and you know it.
Mm-hmm. But is it safe to say you don't care for him these days?
I haven't cared for him for quite a while. I honestly wanted to get more information, like, this is him. What are y'all gonna do? Pick a side right now, because this man cannot keep going on. Because he's trying to team up with Traore, and I do not want to see that happen.
Yeah, who's Traore?
Traore is over Burkina Faso.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I didn't want him dragging his smut into that arena, because that could possibly affect Ibrahim's image. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But whatever he's trying to do, I don't want to see Umar next to anybody, because it will tarnish. And I gotta tell you this, when the tragedy happened with the little boy, the 12-year-old little boy, I was talking to his grandmother, both sets of grandparents. They were trusting me. We were talking, and I was talking to them sincerely. I called Umar, I was like, oh my God, you're not gonna believe what happened. He's like, oh, And I told him, this fool got off the phone with me and went and put it up on Instagram. He did not care. He did not care. He didn't care.
Wait, what did he put up? What did he put up?
He put out some conspiracy theory. Even if that was what we were thinking or probably, why would you do that to the family? Why would you just put that out there to attack their I don't know, he's just insensitive. He didn't let me ask them. He just took it and used it for clout. And that's not the only thing.
No, he's done that a lot, yeah.
So they told me, you don't care nothing about that little boy. He was a 12-year-old little boy. You don't care nothing about him or the situation, even from a psychology aspect. He wanted to use it to, oh, they were messing with me and this is how, just years.
Yeah, there are people who tuned in later. So, and I know you referenced this earlier. Can you just tell briefly what took place with that little boy?
We had a event. He was a fabulous. He wanted to be the attorney general. He was 12 years old. His name is Jarrell McGee, and he had a father that possibly was tormented. He unalived him, his mother, and himself. It was a Black family that was in the city. That will let y'all know what city I'm in, but I'm not going to say it. But the city where I come from, the father was going. Me and him were going to work together on a few projects. I never saw any of it coming.
Ma'am, you saying the child's whole name will let them know what city you stay in. You're not good at this at all.
I don't know what happened. It was just like he was there one minute.
I don't like Umar by any means. Let's see. Yeah, this is this is one of his ex-girlfriends.
And he just snapped and that happened. But Umar had to take this and use it as a way of twisting it back on himself.
Mm-hmm.
He completely discounted the little boy. He didn't even remember him. He didn't even remember him.
Yeah, he has a history of that. It's sad. Did Umar ever tell you to not talk about your relationship with him?
He told me never to go to an event. He told me not to go to the events. I think that there are many women like me that are probably across the United States and the continent of Africa, but he told me not to go to the event with like this. Like that's like the girl in Savannah. Mm-hmm. But I told my mom kind of knew because I said something to him in the room and he was like, well, what is your mom worried about? I was like, well, I'm traveling by myself. I'm a woman. And he said, tell your mom you're with me and you're fine. And I was like, okay. So he didn't really care, but I don't know. He didn't really care about anything until it was me doing anything. Like he didn't want me talking to men or anything like that.
Just a couple more questions. You still got time?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Umar her paid caregiver under the waiver program in Pennsylvania?
I think that he is. I think he pays you out of his time when he steps to the side and goes to like an event or something. Mm-hmm. So they think he's probably there all the time, and then when he gets his payment from the event, he kicks you out the money, but he keeps the money that they send him as the caregiver. Yeah,
and I stated that years ago that was probably what was taking place. He has so many aliases too. Who knows what name?
Oh my God, yes, he does. Mm-hmm. Even the way that he asked, I almost thought, I was like, this ain't no way this man has 6 degrees or 5 degrees. There's no way that he has this many degrees. Possibly he done got somebody's name and did some fraud and took their name or some way, I don't know, but maybe he does. With all the information he brought through, I know now that he does, but I'm thinking at that time. Because he's just not that bright. Like I don't think he could go into a kitchen and make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, by himself without monitoring.
Mm-hmm. No, I can see that. Or do you have any concern about you being defamed online by you speaking about this? Because Umar knows who you are. And he has a habit of, as an example, if someone sends him a text message, excuse me, and it says something that he doesn't like, he'll post the text message and include the person's phone number. Are you having any fears about that?
No, I mean, if the way the house looks, there's not too many things after seeing that home that anybody can say about me. Mm. After seeing the conditions that, it's just pure squalor, there's nothing I could feel bad about. And I don't do anything wrong anyway. I'm not an online type of person. I don't have a following. I'm not, I try to move under real stealth because, like I said, he's not the only known person I know and I deal with. But even if he did, I don't give a damn about all of that. There's worse things have been said about better people, So.
No, I understand. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, but you have courage. I'll take you have my respect for coming out and speaking about this for sure.
He's not as big and bad as people think.
Oh, I know.
I think you get it though. You get it. Some people think that his followers are not that bright. And I told him, I've always said if you're gonna pay attention to people, look in the comment section, look at the type of people that follow them, and they're not putting two and two together. And he's not trying to educate them. If you go, he does a lot of conspiracy theory, and I told him, why don't you try to give them some type of substance? And he doesn't have it in him. If you look at those parenting conferences where he's on the phone, I could give the people better advice than the same way he's giving them. He's not stating any rocket science. I bought the book before I started talking to him. I got the book. I read through it. This is all available to Black people in their school district. The only difference in that book is that it says the Black advocate. There's nothing in there profound that they can't get from the Ideal Act. Read the Ideal Act.
I have just a few more questions. Going back to his mother, if the bathtub is upstairs and she's unable to get up there, how does she get real bath? Does she just not get real bath and just wipe downs?
With him having a back problem, I don't think he's carrying her up there. I know that.
No, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
Yeah, I know that button, the thing, you see elderly people sit on and carry them up the steps. She hasn't been in one of those. I think that she is just getting hand baths. She should be submerged in water at some, point. And that's why I have the text messages I sent to him. Let's get her a portable tub. It's very easy. This way she can even get some, get some time in the tub. I don't know if she does physical therapy. She needs physical therapy. She has an arm that is that's clenched tight. She just, I don't know. She needs, for the time that I'm there, there's not anyone coming in. He said that she has multiple sclerosis, and it might be that, but that doesn't contest for the sundown. She's sundowning at times, and he's like, "Oh no, that ain't what it is." I'm like,
what does that mean, sundown?
That's Alzheimer or dementia go through a time where they kind of revert back, where they have, it's kind of like their mood changes. I don't know why it happens. I'm not real familiar with it. I know my grandmother had it, and it's identical to what his mom is going through. It's almost like she's not in the present. She's in the past. Like when I would be changing her, she was like, just wait on it. She thinks she's going through labor. And if she believes, honestly, that that's what she's going through, can you imagine keep putting her through that? If she's screaming and yelling and fighting, and I'm like, just trying to talk her through it. I try to count her down. I said, okay, don't count. I'm not no profession. I just did the best that I could. I said, we're going to count it out. And she would count with me and would keep her mind off of me, wiping her up, because I had to get her clean. And 2 hours later, I get her clean, get her happy, back where she's at. And 2 hours later, you're putting her back in. That's torment. I don't know. That's just how.
And when you say putting her back, what was she? What is it? A bed, a couch? What would that be?
She sit in her chair and watch a lot of horror movies. She loves horror movies.
Yeah,
like,
Umar.
Like, all right.
Yeah, but Umar, he stated that I have him on the interview where he says he likes to watch movies, and his favorite is horror movies.
Yeah, that might be his favorite. I don't know if that's her favorite, but it might be. But I did what he told me to do, and she would put on a horror movie. I'm gonna tell you something else about Umar. If Umar knows that you care about someone, or you are taking to somebody, he will take them away from you. And that's exactly what he did. He took her. And the last, I knew he was going to do it because that's the evil.
It's his mama. What the fuck?
That he does. And just like with the boot camp, I was supposed to control the boot camp. I had people wanting the boot camp, and then he took it. And then I was supposed to do the furniture, and said I took a lot of time putting together the furniture for FBMG. And then he took it. And then he put me on the project with his mother.
Man, that's what I'm saying. She got all these roles just out the blue for him to be such a bad guy, or they moved quick as hell.
And I'm working with her, and I'm thinking about all the stuff I'm gonna do the next time I go out and all these other things. And I got an inkling in me. I said, Siobhan, if he sees you on that camera and y'all laughing and y'all having fun and you're cool, he's gonna take her. And that's exactly what he did. It wasn't nothing wrong or anything. It's just him. He made that whole situation bad. So he took her. And I started sitting with my laptop at the table, and I would talk to her from there. He couldn't see me on camera. And she do this thing. She'd be like, hello. Like, when she wants your attention, and you'd be like, yeah. And then, you know, you start talking, but I never sat in there with her anymore, like laughing and joking, because he would take her. And that's what he did.
Yeah, possessive. You said earlier, you said that the steady rant was Umar on 5. What do you mean by that? 5 out of 10?
Yeah, 5 out of 10. That's him on 5. He's like the type of person, you know, and be like he bites himself or something. Like he reminds me of those people that are not checked in very well. He has some serious mental health issues. Serious mental health. And he doesn't care that you know. And now his following and the worship is he's I'm Black Jesus, I'm RB Jesus, who cares? I'm Jesus, who are you? You know, he does not care. I'm thinking that he's going to get to a point where he's going to try to get a cult, like he's going to get people to join up, and then we follow.
He broke up with her
because he asked me to get a house. He wanted me to get a house in one of the states up there, and I was going to do it, you know, because I was ready to move where I was, and I was leaving the job that I'm at, the career I'm at, to try to focus on this other project I'm working on. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I'll take care of his mom. I'll work on my project, and he'll be out. He's not going to be there that much. So, but he very much wants to have his own community. He's a very you can't sit with us. He's like a person that will he gets pleasure from that. So I don't know if that happened to him when he was a kid or something, or what. But he's like, you're out of the kingdom. You're out of the kingdom. That's what he said the first time I got in trouble by him. He was like, oh yeah, you out of the kingdom. And I was like, okay, fine, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But he's very I don't even know what that's called when people just want to, like, you can't sit with us club, you're not in our club type of person. So that's
yeah. So real quick, when you said maybe it's something from childhood, was there anything that he told you specifically about his childhood with any type of trauma, relationship with mother, or relationship with father?
Just what the mama said when she said she broke his thumb. So I know.
I noticed that though too. At least one of his thumbs, it goes way out.
Way back, you know. And then the way that he lives and he's okay with it, the abundance makes me think that possibly he did not have a whole lot growing up. The only people that I know that do stuff like that are people that have not a whole lot growing up. And none of this is like, it should be a shocker to him because I told him all of this. I told him everything that I feel, you know, he just doesn't want, he has an avoidance about things. He doesn't want to deal with it. He doesn't want to talk about it.
Has he ever talked to you about his father?
Not in other than like saying he don't deal with him or he don't fuck with him. Excuse me, I'm sorry. You know,
no, it's fine.
Yeah, like stuff like that. Just comments, but not anything like, hey, come in and sit down and listen to what happened to, you know, happened to me in my childhood. I don't think that kind of stuff he's very guarded with. But he uses the same talking points. So you think that you're really getting, this is another thing about Umar. Umar would use like certain talking points with you to make you feel like you're getting an in-depth look at him, but those aren't the in-depth looks. He just uses them to manipulate people. Like, oh my God, we're getting so close. You're opening up about this. That's something he really don't care too much about.
I have about 6 more questions.
Okay.
So dealing with his mother again, someone had asked earlier when he's away, because he travels a lot, who's there to take care of the mother?
He has, what do you call those? A care service. They bring or send him aids, or then he gets them private.
Okay.
I didn't know that when I cook her food, she would be very skeptical about what's in it, or can I eat this? She was always checking her food. And he was very obsessed with witches. Like, she's a witch. She's a witch. I think he's been bringing some questionable people around, like to maybe the women that he's finding are a certain type of religion, and she doesn't particularly care for it. So I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna put nothing in your food bag. Go ahead and eat. You know, I would tell her stuff like that, and she'll eat. But I knew, like, she was even mushing up her shrimp. I'm like, why is she mushing her shrimp up first? Like, she's checking it to make sure there's not nothing foreign in it, like somebody's trying to, you know, put a hex or, you know, whatever. But that's what he's getting these women, because even the stuff that's going on, he's like, oh, I forgot that. He told me somebody stole his, and I don't know if he told me that because of where I work. He said, oh yeah, somebody stole my identity and filed taxes. And I'm like, okay. Or he'll tell me like something else has happened. They stole this or they did this. The same way he says about the school. I think those are lies to try to cover up things that have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So real quick, some of that also asks, in terms of the arrangements, there were times where you were at a hotel, but there were also times that you were sleeping at the residence. Where did you sleep at the residence?
I could have slept up in his room, but I couldn't do it. There's a chair, like a grandpa chair, coming up right by his mom, and I used to sleep in that. I couldn't get in his bed because I didn't know when the sheets been changed. His room was effed up. He left a pistol on the dresser, and I don't know if he forgot who I was. I don't know if he was trying to intimidate me or what, but he left the pistol on the dresser. I'm like, why would you leave a pistol out on the dresser? And I think it was to try to intimidate me because he does things like that, and his memory is very bad. His memory is terrible. So he might have been trying to like intimidate me, like, yeah, he's a real, I don't know, but I didn't care about that. But I just wasn't getting in the bed because the room was all jacked up. There's clothes. He's got so many shoes and clothes. It's too much. It's overwhelming. I couldn't be in there.
Yeah, were the clothes washed? The ones that are piled up?
It's hard to tell, and it's just really hard to tell. It's like, you know, he's doing a sniff test on some of that stuff, like clean it up.
All right, I ain't gonna go any further than that. We'll leave that right there. I
felt about the sheets. I was like, yeah.
You said the hotel. You said the hotel's all right, but I'm trying to lighten up the mood here. We are almost done, sis. Thank you so much for sharing this information. Do you think Umar's mother is the reason he is the way that he is, or do you think it's his father? Or you think it's both?
Ooh, that's a very good question. I have not met his dad. I did see his dad showed up for the incident when he was on trial for his license, and I was like, wow, he showed up and he supported his son, and he's extra nasty to his son or to his dad. So I don't know if he is upset with him based off of him leaving them. His mom is a lot. His mom is off the chain. I mean, some of the stuff he said, I mean, we all have different mothers, but I've never heard my mom call nobody bulldaggers, and then like I don't know anything about it, you know.
What?
Like, you know, bulldaggers or whatever. Bulldaggers.
What is a bulldaggers?
I don't call it. I think that's a stud, what we would call a stud now, but I don't use that.
He know damn well.
The lady across the street is a bulldagger.
He know damn well he know what a bulldagger is.
I thought you said he was okay. All right, so she ain't talking about Umar. I did.
She was like mean on the television and stuff. She was always telling me how fine Umar. She said, "Ooh, Umar's fine. He's fine, conceited though." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "You gonna get a lot of money because Umar has a lot of money." And I was like, "Oh, okay, he's gonna give me some money." You know, I'm just having a conversation, but I'm also paying attention on what she's meditated on. I think by just even how the house is, how he is, that she did a number on him. Mm-hmm. And then also the other kids that she had, I think they're around, like even what I sent you, the brother.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, "Don't make me go back to my old ways like that." And he's like, I'm thinking, he's in the streets. He's doing the other type of work, something, you know. So I don't know. I think that she's not like a church mouse. I know that. That's what I said.
And you did say earlier that she calls Umar Blackie and calls him, what else did you say?
She calls him Blackie. She's like, "Oh, here comes Blackie. We gotta ask Blackie." And she does things, I think, to get him. I think she does things when she wants him, like her sliding down to the floor. I think she wanted him because he had been gone for 5 days. I think she wanted him to come back home. But when she got mad about me changing her, she was telling me, I think that's what they were talking to the other girls that were taking care of her. I think that she thought that was my source of income. And so she was like, "You ain't gonna get paid. You ain't gonna be shit." You know, she was just going in. I'm like, oh no. Don't say that. She was like,
you're saying that she probably thought that you were one of the assistants that would come in that Umar would hire, you know, like from a professional agency.
She has her mind is like he's like the top tier, and when he get in, he gonna shut everything down type of mentality. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, well, we still got to clean you," you know. And she'd get upset about that. But I think that threat was intimidating the other workers, but it wasn't intimidating me because I wasn't there to like pay my bills. I was there, you know, to help. to her. But yeah, she was going in on me. She was swinging on me and everything else.
Oh no.
Yeah.
This sounds like a lot of dysfunction. So I had just a couple more questions, real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you just a follow-up question, because on one hand you stated that you didn't want to sleep inside of his bed at his residence, but then someone had said that you said that you were laid up with him talking one time, and but then yet you said that you didn't want to sleep in his bed. So where were you at?
Oh, we were at the hotel.
Okay.
When the girl was in Savannah, I'm sorry.
No, you did. Yes, you said that. No, you said that.
He was trying to play sleep when he was trying to play sleep, and I was trying to get him up to talk to him about this girl, and he didn't want to wake up. You know, he was up, but he was trying to avoid the situation. That's his thing, is he'll try to go to sleep, and then when you get him opening up, he just goes to 10. He also just moves like very paranoid. Like, I was standing behind him because he was getting my hotel room. And you know how you're looking in somebody's direction, but I'm not looking on your phone. He was like, go sit down. He looked at me like, go sit down. I was like, oh, okay. Like, he has an idea that you're always trying to scheme and scam, because that's what time he's on.
Yeah, paranoid too. Yep.
Yeah, very paranoid. Very paranoid.
How did you find my channel? Go ahead next.
My son sent it. He blocked my son. My son adored him, but he started waiting. I kept telling my son when we were going up to Nebraska to pick him up, I was like, hey, don't lose your head. He's just a man. He's just a man. Don't lose your head. And then even when I was with him or whatever, I would tell my son, but I never really lost my head about him. I was just, I kind of let my heart feel sorry for him. You know what I mean? And that's where, but
you didn't tell your son you was fucking Umar? I wonder why.
I think he was doing, he blocked him on social media. He didn't even do anything to him. And then he tried to say he didn't know how to unblock him. I'm like, I'm not dealing with you until you unblock my son. And then he didn't unblock him. He said he was, and he never unblocked him. And my son was like, I don't even want him unblocked. But to get to the point, he started seeing some things about him, being a man, vetting a man. He's like, something ain't right, mama. And he started sending me these things. I would always watch probably about 5 minutes, but I never got into it. I was like, I'm not watching this because it's negative.
Because you were fucking him. That's why. Your son wouldn't.
You know what I mean? And one time I just watched a whole hour, and then I had to get off. And then I came back and I finished it up. I was like, he sees him. He sees what he is. So you have a very good idea of who he is.
But you didn't, because you.
Well, I appreciate that. Just some final questions here.
Yeah, just fine.
Yeah. And thank you so much. I don't know if you're okay with it, but people were asking if you had a Cash App that you can share. They want to send you support. That's totally up to you. The good person that's very supportive. If you do have a Cash App, you can let us know what it is, or you can email it to me and I can post it in the chat room. Or if after the show, if you want us to post your Cash App, I can put it inside the comment section and pin it to the top of the live stream. That's totally up to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. You're welcome. You're so welcome. You just have to send it to me. You have to send it to me now.
You ain't anonymous no more.
If you're in the chat, you can post
it. You want me to put it in the chat?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, and then once you have it there, I'll be sure to.
I know I'm long-winded, but this is it's a lot of emotion.
No, it's okay. No, you're doing just fine, and I appreciate you. Very courageous for you to come out. And I've talked with other women who dealt with Umar personally and privately, mostly offline, but for you to come forward online, very committed. You have my respect. Okay.
I wish more with people, because I've already seen the text. I wish they would just come out, because this is the only way he's gonna be stopped. My fear is that he's going to get linked up, because before Shannon Sharp stuff dropped, allegedly.
Stop. He needs to be stopped from doing what? You hadn't said the man mistreated you at all. You just said he got a slick mouth and he took shit away from you and he blocked your son. He probably blocked your son when he stopped fucking with you. Then he said he ain't know how to unblock him, and you told him, I ain't talking to you till you unblock my son, and he never undid it. But yeah, and now she's about to say her fear is he gonna end up like Shannon Sharp getting sued. Why the fuck do you care? You don't like him. He's a horrible person.
I don't know how to do that, but you can clean it up. When that dropped, right, if you remember, right before Umar had live, he was playing around with talking about getting a young wife.
Yeah.
I think he wanted possibly me to be the older wife and bring in a younger woman, but I am not. There's nowhere that he can provide ever, either on the phone or off the phone. He said he wanted to marry me based off of taking care of his mother. And I was like, no, as a matter of fact, I think until this time is passed, we need to even take the physical off of the table because I don't want you to be weird about this. Because he kept saying, you're the only person ever been around my mom that I've ever touched. And I don't want you to hurt my mom, and come give me a hug, give me a kiss before I leave. So I don't hurt my mom. And I was like, I'm not that type of person. I don't want to deal with anything like that. Then he's
So you was gonna stop fucking him and be a full-time caretaker to his mom for free? Because you said you offered to do it for free. She lying.
he was starting with the other stuff when I got to Philly. You know, Philly is a beautiful place. The people, I know it gets a bad rap, but just walking around in the streets and stuff, the people are very friendly. I have men, say things to me playfully. And, I play back. I'm a friendly person. I don't have any issues with being kind to people. None of it was, weird or odd, even for me walking as a woman alone, just playful, man, like stuff. And he would get irate. He was like, "We're talking to me, and why are you out of your room? And why are you doing this?" And he wanted to give me an itinerary, of what to do when I was there. And he's like, "You're not going to lay in the room all day. You're going to go do this." He's a very, very big control freak.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, women get that Casanova type of vibe. That's when he's in an act. He's not like that. If he has his eyes on you, he's not like that.
Mm.
And a lot of people like, well, he wasn't like girls for my job. And then I went through that. Y'all know how he is dealing with people that are obsessed with him. And then I brought him here. So people are constantly coming up to me about him. Some people don't like him. They came for me about that. And I'm not a person that's big on division. But I did want people to accept it for, for what it was. And I've been through hell. And then when you don't like somebody and they're everywhere, you know what I mean? You got to deal with that too. But it's a lot.
Yeah, it definitely is. Real quick,
at all.
I didn't see your cash app in there, but if you're not comfortable doing it, that's fine.
Yeah. Running my mouth.
Okay. No, that's perfectly fine. I have to ask just for clarification.
Yeah.
Does Umar live stream based upon the forensic evidence? When I show videos of Umar live streaming in different locations in his mom, I say it's his mama's closet. It could be the laundry room, and there's no, based upon the layout that I saw online, it could be that there's no washing machine or dryer in there. He did say that he actually outsources the washing of clothes. Does he live stream in different locations in his mother's house or just one location?
I think, that he does not do when anyone's there. So he does not do that when anybody's there. But I honestly believe that's in his room, maybe tucked in the corner. Mm-hmm. And I would tell y'all what's in the corner, but you're not gonna know because you ain't been in there. There is
what's in the corner? What's in the corner?
It's a gorilla.
You gotta be kidding me. What?
It's a gorilla sitting on top of a pile of clothes.
What? What in the world? How big is the gorilla? Is it a small gorilla, medium? What?
It's a medium-sized gorilla. It really takes you off. I went to the door because I didn't know, to be quite honest, I didn't really know. This was the first time I was there. Excuse me, I got cameras. And I was like moving around the house and stuff. And so I just went to the door and I looked in. I wasn't gonna go in there looking around anyway because it was a mess. But I looked to, left and I, looked at the dresser and I had the gun on there and I'm like, wow. And then I looked the other way and it's a gorilla sitting on top of a pile of dirty clothes.
Oh my goodness.
Or clothes.
Yeah, what else was in that, by the way?
Y'all, okay. He is a true Leo. So if you know Leos, they buy like little trinkets, like they impulse buy. So they're like, just imagine every time somebody goes somewhere, they buy things. And then not only does he buy like one, he might buy 4 or 5 or 6 of them. Mm-hmm. People send him stuff. He has clothes out of this world. It's just like mountains. I couldn't even tell you how many clothes. Things that you've seen, like the red, black, and green jacket was in there. It's just a huge array of stuff. And his mother has just as much stuff. So she's a hoarder too. You know, I think that she's a hoarder too.
I thought that too.
Yeah. And I can tell by the things, and I'm not passing judgment because, you know, his brother lived there before him with her. So he could have got rid of stuff, or, you know, he could have did whatever. So I'm think that the whole family is, because if the brother was okay with the house like that, he lived there, he got to be a hoarder. But there are things there that also you wouldn't. There are things that are missing that are, you know, for people that keep house. If you keep house, then you know you have certain things that are in every woman's house, or most women's house, I should say, and it's not there. You know, like there's just certain things that aren't there. So it's like it's limited in with the things that they need, but it's plentiful in products. So that doesn't mean you don't know what to buy. You're just buying things. You know what I mean? So there is a ton of hygiene products, ton of product to clean with. Though I don't think he cleans. I think he just buys things to buy. He doesn't know what to buy when he goes grocery shopping. He doesn't buy things for like a meal. He just buys everything. He has a ton of snacks in there, like a ton. That was the only thing that kept me on that 5-day jam up, because it's like he just has a ton of sweets in there, ton of sweets. But he doesn't have things that he should have. Like he wants you to cook these meals, and I'm like, you don't have everything that you need for a balanced meal. He wants you to fix what he wants her to eat, but you have not taken it upon yourself to make her out a meal plan. You know, you don't take it upon yourself to even make out. And here's the thing: the whole thing about me keeping her, he gave me like an hour rundown, and it wasn't even an hour. It was a 30-minute rundown of how to take care of her. And I told him, let me come over, you know, before, so I can watch you, I can see how this is done. He didn't want that. You know, if he really cared about her, he would be like, oh yeah, come over here, you're about to watch. But he said he wanted to clean up the house before I got there. But it didn't look like he cleaned up, not to my specifications. And I have teen boys, so I know an attempt. He didn't have an idea. He doesn't know how to clean.
No, I know that already.
Yeah, you can look at somebody and be like, you never cleaned up. And I would have got the house completely together. I mean, like, if he wasn't nasty, I would have got all of that together. But he didn't want anybody, he's attached to it. I do the cereal bowls, okay, so minimalism, you know, when you start that, you have a test box. I put it in there and I threw certain things that you could possibly live without. But if you have to go in there, you know, and get it, then it's probably not something you need to check. And he had 18 bowls. So I took and left 4. There's only 2 people living there. So I took, I took some of the bowls and minimized them down. He was like, oh no, we ain't getting rid of this. We ain't getting. I was like, okay, so you can't live without these useless bowls that you don't. Okay, not a problem.
We hoarder.
Yeah, he's very much, and he's psychologically. He came at me like I was trying to take his kids, and I'm like, he was like, you threw it away. I know you threw it away, and I was like, no, I never would throw anything. That's why I have a box here. It's a test box. If you can't handle it, then we will try somewhere else. I didn't know how hoarders were until I met him. I come from a long line of clean women. We keep house. That's what we do. And I told him I've been keeping house since a very early age. I know what I'm doing. You got too much food in this icebox.
Ma'am, he dumped you. He don't give a damn about all that.
To turn it over to see what you got in your feet. And then the stuff don't match. And the icebox is filthy. If you drop something in the icebox.
And I know she old because she calling the refrigerator an ice box.
You gotta throw it away. You know what I'm saying? Like if a shrimp fell out of the bowl, but you're trying to find the place. So what I did, I went in there, I chopped down all this fruit because he wanted her to be vegan. He wanted a vegan meal, and he wanted her to eat better. So I chopped up everything. I broke it all down, all that fruit that he bought. He didn't know what he was buying. He was just buying anything in there. And I chopped it all up. I bagged it up and put it in containers so that I could compress the volume. And yet, no. He had like 4 heads of lettuce in there. I chopped them all up. Now, mind you, there's nowhere in the kitchen to even chop. There's nowhere you can chop this stuff up. And then I put the lemon juice on it so it wouldn't well. Put some in the bag, some of it in the bowl with a top on it for easy access. He didn't want none of that. I was like, you don't know what you're doing, but he don't want you coming in there doing anything. So you let him have it. I got tired of fighting with him. He's smart. He thinks he's smart about everything across the board, and you have no value. No value. And I think I'm one of those people that common sense. I know a little bit about something enough to hold a conversation. And he's the type of person that he doesn't like that. He does not like that. He doesn't want you to know more than him or know better than him.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I told him about the chemicals in the school, like you can't put bleach on the floors, you're gonna tear up those floors. He didn't like that.
Did you ever visit the school?
I did on my own, but we ain't gonna tell him that.
Well, he know now. He watching right now. I guarantee it.
I was there when he locked. I was there at the house with his mother. It's kind of crazy. I was always there when all these things happened. But when he locked himself out of the school and was waiting on the locksmith, I was at the house with his mom. So, and he's like that because he moves faster than his brain does.
Mm-hmm.
And he won't slow down. And then with the substance, added to it, that's why that school got vandalized. I do believe, this is what I do believe too. I do believe he has some books of value in that school because you got to think about the amount of money that man has had and his interests. Like I've seen stuff online for a Garvey that's like $5,000, just memorabilia. And he's done snatched it up. But he doesn't have the mindset, oh, okay, this is rare. Let me put this in an air-controlled facility. Or, let me make sure I preserve it correctly. It's an investment. Or let me get insurance on it because this is, valuable. He doesn't have that type of insight or foresight, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything, and I just have three more questions. Is there anything that we don't know or that we haven't talked about dealing with FMG that that you would like to share about FMG?
No, not other. I'm trying to think back because we done talked about so much. I know that there are some people that I know that they posted the inside. Well, he got mad at me because I posted some pictures. This is actually the first time he snapped off at me. Somebody had posted the inside of the school during paint day. He didn't want anybody knowing. They posted it all on Facebook. So I took all of them off and I sent them to him. And I said, did you want these up? Because he didn't want nobody. He said, no, where'd you find them? I said, well, they're online. He doesn't articulate what he's trying to say. And I kept sending him pictures. And he's like, well, you just take a picture of the damn Facebook page. And he's like, oh, that's the guy that did security.
Mm-hmm.
But he went off on me, but he didn't bring the energy to the mail. So you're one of those. You got energy for me, but you don't have energy for him. Okay. So that incident happened. Then we talked about the school needing furniture, but he brought that up. I knew the school wasn't nowhere near it at the time that it needed to be decorated with furniture. He has things on the road, and I tried to offer it to him that I have friends, that have done these things, not as a flex, but because I've been in a position that I know how to build things, and you are not going about this the correct way. And he didn't want to talk about it.
I have noticed throughout this entire thing, this lady makes it seem like she's just this outstanding, incredible woman.
I think he knows that was another way that I felt reduced in the space. And even with the boot camp, he was giving me a hard time, like he needed a whiteboard. And I'm like, we can rent one of those, we can rent it from a company that will one in. Are you sure? Are you sure that they can? Yeah. I work in a department, trust me, I know what I'm doing. I don't even want to go through all of the things that I've done just to prove to you I know what I'm doing. But even just on those fool's errands is what I call them. He'll send you on them, you'll complete the task. He still ain't came back to me and asked me, hey, where's that furniture I told you to find out about? Or what information that I told you to look up, or the caterer or anything. He doesn't come back to you and get it. So you've worked, you've done your due diligence, and he's out wilding.
Mm-hmm.
And then the problem, he's going to get these wives that he thinks that he's going to put them to work. He burns you out because he keeps sending you on these things that have not been thought out. And I don't play. I get busy. So when I go to attack something, I don't have all the information. It's just all over the place. It's not pulled together. It's a fool's errand. And if he gets through women, you'll see they're going to validate everything in less than a year. He doesn't have that ability.
Two more questions. Did he ever mention how much money he received in donations, or did he ever talk about donations?
No. He never told me anything about money. I think I got with him at a different phase of the donations. I wasn't with him in the heyday.
Yeah.
Because I can see the remnants of his kicking it in that house. I'm not going to put anything on anybody, but I know that there are some women that have ran for office, or not office, but a seat or a campaign for something in government. And I wonder if some of the money went there. I don't know if the family took a hold of some of that. I don't know. But he's got some type of authority. And usually that authority over siblings comes as being the person with the bag.
No, I understand that. Yeah, I can definitely see that with Umar. Plus, he's the oldest son.
Yeah.
Some
And
of
there's
that,
a reason why they're not coming out and speaking. If y'all getting dragged out fights, and how many people are not stepping up and saying certain things, when it comes to your daughter, you got some kind of control, like they don't want to step on his toes because they miss the back.
no, I agree. No, I believe that too. I talked about that years ago.
Yeah.
Last question here, if you don't mind. Did he say anything about his children or about his baby mamas?
Oh, yeah. He told me in the hotel room, he got mad at me. I think he got mad at me because of something that happened the very first time we met. But he told me, he said, my baby mother is trying to get me for child support. And I said, well, pay her. Pay her in both. And he was like, he didn't say nothing. And then I think he said something to the effect of, I got to go to court, but I'm not going to go. I said, well, why aren't you going to go to court? He didn't say nothing. He went on and kept watching a movie. This is when that series came out he's a dark guy with a beard. It was a series on Netflix, and he was watching it all day long.
I know what you're talking about.
Then he ended up trying to say that the man, that was his life. I'm like,
yeah, he did.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he sure did.
I had to take the phone and pause it. I was like, are you paying attention to me? Because he just really was not paying attention to me. But I said, marry her. Why not marry her? You want 2 wives? Here's your 2 wives. Each one got, And he was like, shut up. He just said it like I'm not lying. He just said it like that. And I didn't say nothing. I just was like, well, shit. I mean, I don't want you. Not like that. I know what comes with being with you. But that's really what it came down to. But I knew by how those women were acting, I knew that he had done some vicious things to them. Especially with him having a baby. I just assumed it would be very much like me taking care of his baby. That's his mom.
Yeah, so you're talking about the baby mamas.
Yeah. So if they had his daughters, that would bring out the same type of humor. And that, that is a vicious person. It's a bad person. So I can just imagine why they cut it and left and didn't look back. I don't hold any ill will towards those women. When he sent his people, his followers on that woman, well, first I asked him, I said, well, how come nobody can see your kids or why you're not with the kids? And he's like, oh, I'm a revolutionary, people are after me and all this other stuff. And I was like, okay, well, I can see that. But why would you send the same people towards your baby's mom that could possibly hurt her and she could have your daughter with her at the time? Why would you?
Or the grandmothers.
Or the grandmother, the mom, yes, because they work together in the restaurant, I guess.
Yep.
So that let me know, like, when you get mad, you get hateful. The gloves come out. And then looking at how Anissa was, I was like, yeah, no, I don't. But no, he never said anything. Even he never gave me his opinion on dealing with Anissa. But I told him how to handle that situation. He did the opposite, the complete opposite, and he ended up doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, one last question here, and then we'll close this out. Did you ever take any pictures with Umar or any videos while you were with him?
Oh God, I did, but not in the personal space. I didn't. I took pictures when we had the event. They're horrible. If y'all find them, good luck.
Well,
I was running all around the theater trying to get
don't. You ain't got to explain nothing.
But yeah, we took some pictures, but I never after the event, I never clapped it off of it. I posted the pictures. People asked me about it, and I told him I didn't want to be publicly aligned with it. I've always been, hell bent on that. I don't want to be aligned to you publicly, and a lot of that is too because I do, like I said, I work with people in a personal capacity in other areas, and they're known. And I just didn't want to be.
I thought she worked for the government.
Any questions or anything like that, but I did. If you find them, you find them. But I ain't gonna listen to you.
Well, let me say this, sis. I want to thank you for sharing this, and very courageous on your part. There are plenty of other women who have dealt with Umar personally and privately that have all kinds of stories that they could share. Some are afraid to share those stories. I'm sure that there are some who would like to, but maybe they're not familiar with my platform. If there's any women out there who would like to come on and share, you can always reach me at LennonHonor@yahoo.com. I'll get you first and have you on. I want to thank.
All right, that was the first part. We're going back to this second part they get.
Didn't want to be bothered
Let's see what else she got.
Don't bother me.
These
That's not
motherfuckers
what
is
happened.
5 hours
That's not what
in.
happened. There's a lot of times when I'm talking to myself, I don't really care because I'm pissed off and I'm venting. It's a lot of times when he calls after. I mean, it's just he played this well in the respect that he was already he was working or dealing with me with a strategy. But once I got on to the strategy, I beat him at his own game.
Yeah, he definitely did. He wasn't expecting this. No Contendo asked another, and we're almost done, sis. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, No Contendo also asked, did Umar Johnson ever solicit donations from large and or national Black organizations like NAACP, UNCF, HBCUs, NOI, IUIC, etc.? Did he talk down on any of those organizations?
He talked down on the when we had an event. When we had an event, I know he doesn't like the NAACP, but I don't particularly care for them either. They're just non-existent in some spaces. He never spoke about the UNCF. Before I knew he was deranged, I was pushing him to the UN because I was like, yeah, my footing was like to get him to the top. Like I was like, yeah, go to the UN, start. But he never said anything about that. HBCUs, he has been vocal about his dismay for them. The NOI, that is a strange one. I have a lot of respect for them in a way. I do know that after he left the city, they contacted me. And I told him, I did tell him, because remember, I'm in loyal mode. So anything that was going down, I'm letting him know. So they did contact me, but I don't know what it was about. I just got an email, and maybe they wanted, to know some information, and they were probably thinking, I don't know. But they did reach out.
You're saying the NOI emailed you?
Yeah, there was somebody from, and I might have that email still, and I can send it over.
Yeah,
but
are you saying there was someone from the NOI that was at the event, and then later they emailed you?
I don't know. It was a very, from what I showed it to my son, it kind of got me shook up a little bit because I was like, hey, did you see this? I can't even remember the name that was on it. And there were so many weird things happening after that event. He just wasn't open for it. He asked me if there were newsy people coming around, but I didn't even give him that information. And most people won't because he throws everything up on Instagram. You can't have no backdoor conversations with him, even in respect to anything that is going on with him personally, like anything, because he don't provide a space for it. He cuts himself out. It would probably been a lot of things he could have avoided or got help with or got celebrities to step up. But everything that you post up on it, and that scares people. I had to even go to just like the people I know, like, look, I gotta go after this dude, and it is what it is. But my colors haven't changed. But he's just he's not. He tells on the tablet instead of just taking it under his hat and be like, thanks for good looking out, thank you for letting me know. So we can keep you on your toes. He goes and puts it up on Instagram and tells everybody. Like the thing with Ray J, he shouldn't have never posted that. That would have been something that you would have had. You checked the man, you didn't need to post it up. Now celebrities know, oh yeah, you a clout chaser. And they stay clear of him. They don't, if they can get money for underhand and stuff, they could have had FBMG up and running.
Yeah.
They was really messing with him like that.
Yeah, the other thing though too is he's so messy. Let's say if they did donate, ain't no telling what he might say on Instagram to and just telling the business, and maybe they don't want all that business out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's really messy and sloppy with stuff. That's
very like I gotta stop saying that because women get that. I'm sorry, slip out. but he is very, very messy. He reminds me of like just sad, like he just has a tone about him that's not masculine at all.
Yeah, he's sassy. He's sassy.
Very,
Yeah.
very.
And
And he hasn't been around enough like true alpha males
I can tell.
to check him on that. Like, man, no, you don't sit with the women. Even if you see eye to eye, you have to stay in your lane and take that pecking order because that's how you get back out. This is how women are choosing. I knew when I seen certain things in him, I was like, yeah, you're not husband material, my boy. You're popular. You got a lot of clout out here, but everybody don't run.
But you kept going back for the dick.
You didn't call back home and be like, hey, this is what's going on. I'm keeping you on your toes because you guarded something precious to me. Do right, but you didn't have no words. So they let me know that you left your mama unguarded, you left me unguarded, you left your home, your castle unguarded, and you just out. Things like that are not masculine to me.
Yeah.
It's not about pillow talk. It's about keeping you on your toes. No, we don't talk to these people because this is what happened. It's behind closed doors. It's just for your knowledge so you can move better so that you're not causing liabilities for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally understand.
He's not hit to that.
Yeah. No, and thanks, No Contender, for the super chat. No Contender also says, remember the car accident you mentioned? Does he have private insurance? Do you know?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I don't think Umar has insurance. I don't think he has it on them buildings. I think he's like real, like nothing. And I'm worried about if somebody, anything happened with like a fire or anything, it'd just be a loss. I don't think he has insurance on them buildings.
I don't either. Did Umar ever mention witches putting a hex on him or anything like that?
He has hinted around. I honestly think that Umar is trying to be or is a warlock. From that room, or he's in the arts. He's definitely playing around with something dark. And I'm not saying that like I know voodoo gets a bad rep and all those other things, but I'm talking about like he's playing around with something that he really doesn't understand. Like he's leaning all the way to the dark side. He's not balancing it out with, I asked my Baba about him. He was,
and then she gets to talking about, she knows about the art, so she can recognize it. But much like religion and other shit, you have to believe that it works. You can't prove that it works. You just have to believe that it does. Casting a spell is just like praying. Does it work? Who knows?
Like, this is crazy, and this is probably the only thing I'm gonna say spiritual. But there was a trip to Philly that I was supposed to link with him, and I was getting a prayer done over me, and they said that nothing that means you any harm will be able to come near you. And it was so many events, and I won't go all into them, but it shook everything, even to the point I had a flood in the room. I had to switch hotels, but he couldn't get to me. It was like something was blocking him from getting to me, and I was like, yep, that says your ass ain't no good. But I was only going back into that space to retain, kind of like the relationship.
Why would you want to retain a relationship with somebody you know ain't good?
To use it for what it's for. I had been checked out mentally over him, A lot of the text messages, I've already checked out emotionally. I'm like, I'm done with them. But I need to get back in because I want to get this. I didn't get to see inside the spot. I just wanted more information.
So she got back with him for revenge. She ain't just leave him alone and go on about her business. She wanted to get revenge for what exactly though? What did he do that would make her seek revenge? He didn't do shit to her. Because what she's saying is his behavior towards other people.
But it stopped where it needed to stop.
Yeah, but I also think though too that the mom, I think that his mother, you cared about her, you know? And,
Yeah, I did.
mhm.
I really did.
I think you still do. I think you still do. But that speaks to your character.
She's funny. I mean, she's a good woman. She's funny. You can tell that she did, she's raised her kids, and I have a lot of respect for, she just deserves the best right now, and he needs to get his head in order so he can give that to her.
I don't think he wants to. I think he just sees her as an object to control. And like you said before, it's like he uses her as leverage against like the siblings, that type of thing.
And when that last question you got, where he was like he's doing this to get back at her.
Oh, I'm sorry, you muted. Are you there? Hold on one second. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like her phone muted.
I'm sorry, I hit the wrong thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You were talking about the last question about one of the questions about Umar trying to get back at this mother.
Yeah, he wasn't doing like she wasn't the top of his priority. Like he would have had her meal plan. He would have been like, this is the way I take care of her, this is this, he would have been like, come over here so I can walk you all the way through. Because I need to know that you're gonna be good to my mom, make sure y'all get along, whatever. He wasn't concerned about any of that. All he was concerned about was getting out on that road.
Yeah. Yeah, but also, like I said, I think Umar probably done this with other women, but even for him to do that in the first place, that shows a lack of care and protection, because he just doesn't know. He doesn't, another woman that wasn't as kind and gracious as you could have been up in there and doing who knows what to the mama. And Umar, he's traveling and he has no idea what's going on.
And another thing, Lennon, she acts very much like an elder that has been sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
She acts very much like that. And that is the scary part because she does not. I think if you don't know her and she's telling you, no, you ain't supposed to be doing this, I don't know if it's flashback. I don't know if she's confused. I don't know. There's too many things. It's probably best. I know it was probably best that I came out of that space.
Amen.
Because something could have been put on me. I don't trust this man. Like from where I met him and where I am now, I know my heart was in the right place. But you can't be right with everybody. He's literally showed me that he thinks I'm coming out about him is something. You put me in some precarious situations because you could have really did and could still do the fool. I don't know what he has up his sleeve, but here's the other thing that we were wondering, me and my girlfriend were talking about, we were wondering how is he on that lease? How is he on that lease? And she's on public housing, but he has assets over a certain amount. He can't.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, he's not on the paperwork for that property.
That he's not supposed to be there.
No, I know. That's I've been telling people that for years. He's not.
If he has a room and all that other stuff in there, that's residing there. You're spending the night. I don't know if the time pauses, but I know that you can't be there for more than 30 days at a time. And he said something about, you can't. I think that's why he was such in a rush to get me up out of there. I don't know if that's I don't know what. There's just so many things. Like in the morning when he came in, it was like, you gotta go. Are you packed? Are you ready? Are you ready to go? But I know that there are people that are on like public housing and Section 8 that have had friends come up for funerals and have to stay for 30 days or whatever. That is okay. But what you're not supposed to be doing is residing there. You have $250,000 commercial property, and this woman is taking money, and that don't sit right.
Yeah, well, it's more the value of the property is closer to $450,000. I'm talking about the abandoned buildings in Wilmington, Delaware.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the thing is that, and I've talked about this in the past, he's not supposed to be there. He's not on the paper for the Section 8 housing, because I've already looked at that based upon the complaint from, it was a tenant, a complaint for the tenant, because they actually was in the process of evicting his mother because she had not filed the proper paperwork to re-up
For her recertification.
Yes, yes.
So if she's on public housing, she's supposed to have an inspection. How is that house passing inspection?
Ain't no, I don't know. It's just the whole
Something
situation.
ain't right.
Yeah, something ain't right. But the thing I want to say is that Umar's not.
Do you have a dirty house on Section 8?
Well,
Or even
I'm sure.
house for that hoarded?
Yeah, well, I'm sure that there are people who have dirty houses, but in terms of hoarding, who knows? He may have someone come through to clean up before the inspection. I ain't no telling with this guy, but he's not supposed to be there outside of her hours of care.
Mm-hmm.
And then if he was, there's no way that she would qualify for Section 8 housing with him on the paperwork when he's bringing in 2020,
yes,
for example, over $200,000 in donations.
Yes.
So he's not supposed to be there.
Oh no, baby, that got to be investigated. See, this is why you don't do dirt, because dirt comes back on you tenfold.
Cause these hoes is dirty.
Homeless.
That's why you don't do dirt, cause these hoes is dirty. She is out for blood. I don't know what this nigga did to her, but she is scorned.
Could take.
She won't tell us what he did.
Spot.
He blocked her son.
Of it. But you've had enough money, and this, and this is what the guy was telling me about the school. He was like, he could have got a grant for the structure of that school and the surrounding. He didn't have to take from already, people that were already, economically disparaged to build that school. He didn't have to do that. He could have, and it wouldn't affect how the school ran or how it operated. He took that money from those people, their last $10, and you fumbled it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm looking at I've seen the events. I know the type of people that come to those events. Those are not rich people.
Yeah,
that money is missing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Just maybe 3 more questions. And again, thank you for your time. This is from Freeway City Grace. Do you know anything about the black contractor story that he tells, how they were trying to scam him and all that stuff? Did he mention any of that?
Let me explain to y'all. If Umar says anything I doubt there were ever black contractors. I'm just going to keep it real. If anybody ran over with the money, he told me as soon as I came in the door about his mother, he was like, somebody stole his identity and ran off, or somebody ran off or stole his identity and filed taxes. Like, it could be possible. But I think you're trying to cover up because where I worked at the like you trying to cover up and make a story. I don't know if
so she trying to say he worked for the IRS.
Black contractor. He might have been a black contractor who ran off with the money, but I doubt it. Yeah. Anything he don't, because you got to think about it. If he get a small little toy, that man puts it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he holding back with other things that, he was willing to get on the phone and do a whole thing about the habit system with Jose?
Uh-huh.
That motherfucker said havoc system. She been trying to sound smart the whole 7 hours, but yeah, this bitch is regular as hell. She just is good at remembering shit she's heard before. The motherfucker called it a havoc system. HVAC, a havoc system.
He was going to get on there and flex that out. But a small little toy, that man puts it in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he holding back with other things that, he was willing to get on the phone and do a whole thing about the havoc system with Jose?
Uh-huh.
He was going to get on there and flex that out. but you find other stuff. Jose wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling it either. I just was like, nah, you could have had the system refurbished. You didn't have to buy a whole nother damn system. But
well, the thing is, the HVAC up, they were on the roofs. There's actually 4 of those large ones, and then there's smaller ones too on the other side of the street. But they were completely gutted, meaning everything was ripped out of it, and probably drug addicts ripped out of it. So there's no way that he could actually repair those. He has to
okay.
Yeah. That's such a waste of money all the way across the board.
But even I told him, I do remember this. I told him, I said, you know, find a school and see if find one of these labor unions or something. Maybe they have some workers that need experience, like putting up sheetrock or something like that. And you could buy the supply and maybe get them to come in and do the work as a teaching moment. You know, if you be creative, you can probably find a way. He's like, no, we can't do that. I said, well, you got an art school. He was looking for people to do these paintings and stuff. You have an art institute behind the school. If you were more of a people person, you could go out and, you know, probably solicit that job out to an artist and see if they wanted to have, you know, their work put up. No, he don't want to do. He doesn't. In the same way, when he came in that neighborhood, he didn't try to be friendly. He didn't try to speak to people. He didn't try to move around and get to know them. And it's a nice neighborhood, you know. Hood. It's not. It has the potential to be better. There are children in the area. I'm pretty sure those people don't want crime in their area. He could have been a force. You know what I mean? But he's not that guy. He's not. Yeah. He's not that guy.
Yeah, he really never was.
He threw a party on that block. He kept it on that block, but he just he didn't want to have no meetings. Hey, I'll be out of town. I need, you know, nothing. Just familiarize yourself with the area. And I asked him this. I said, what if you get the building that you're in, if you get that fixed up and you can start, you know, just renting it out to fund the other side for, like, you know, events and stuff. He didn't want to have nothing to do with that. So I was like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Okay, real quick. This is the question. Do you know who Lady J is?
Lady J in Louisville? I don't know. Okay. There's so many people. And I'm telling you, these women are, oh my God. Oh my God. You think his stuff was dipped in gold or not even dipped in gold? It's like, I didn't see myself. I don't know how they protect him like that. Especially being years into
the same way you did. The fuck?
I think you have to get closer. The closer you get, then you see it. Because I was like that too until I got closer, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you don't know no good." So
yeah. Do you think that Umar has hit rock bottom with this situation?
No, not yet. Not yet.
What does rock bottom look like for you?
Rock bottom is going to be. I'm gonna be quite honest, y'all. And I hate speaking morbid.
I already know what you're gonna say.
When his mom, if anything happens to that woman, or if anything turns, because he can't even hear that it's a possibility that she might have dementia. And the reason why I stopped bringing it up is because dementia is a definite, you know what I'm saying, outcome with that. And that may not be something he's able to contend with, you know, or even he's not even want to think about. So that might be why he's denying it all. And then it might be something else, but that would look like rock bottom. The other thing would be we wouldn't hear or see from him. If I woke up tomorrow and something had happened to him, like they had that explosion. Did you hear that explosion?
Yeah.
About that, yeah. So if anything happened, I would not be shocked. I'd be like, damn, that's jacked up. But I wouldn't be shocked if it was either him or, you know, I wouldn't be shocked. But I think he just, he's going to implode. He's going to, well, let me tell you this too, from this morning's conversation. He's either going to be hemmed up with the federal.
IRS.
That's a real deal. Once a file, always a file. Or he's going to implode and crash out. And crash out is going to look very, very different for him.
Yeah, what you mean by a file? You know something that we don't know?
I think he need to start. Nothing that I can say just based off of some things we can't.
All right, leave it right there. We're gonna leave right there.
Your mama ass.
Yeah, we ain't gonna go no further. I got you. Okay, just a couple more questions here. One of this is going back to the sex. Okay.
Okay.
Some of that asks if Umar ever asked you to play with his backside.
No, he has not tried that.
Okay.
But kind of like, oh, you're talking about the actual rim? Or are you talking about with my mouth or with my finger? The finger.
Listen,
yeah.
I don't. Wait. Okay. So let me put this up here.
Wait, this bitch said with the fingers, yes.
About the actual rim? Or are you talking about with my mouth or with my finger? The finger.
Listen, yeah. I don't. Wait. Okay. So here, let me put this up here, and then you answer it based upon what you and how you interpret.
Oh, okay. Yes, with the fingers. Yes. But that's not something I'm really into because of the germs. Not the tongue.
Here we go. There she said Umar wanted her to play with his booty hole. Son of a bitch.
But that was Suki I was talking about.
Okay.
She made a song in reference that and he was okay with it. But I'm not putting my tongue anywhere near anybody's.
Okay, but you're saying that the diddler type of thing, he was.
Yeah, he likes that when he's getting his.
This man said the diddler type thing, and now the women said he did some freaky shit, but they ain't say that he liked to be penetrated.
His lift off.
What does that mean?
He's it's part of.
Okay, but you're saying that the diddler type of thing, he was.
Yeah, he likes that when he's getting his lift off.
What does that mean?
He's it's part of like if you know how you cut some things and then you massage others.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so you cut the ball. I guess I'm trying to keep it somewhat. All I keep thinking about is like
while she giving him head, she grabbing the balls, she sucking, and I guess she fingering them. I don't fucking know. This is ridiculous though.
Like what the hell? No, it's just like I don't want to be disrespectful, and that's why I'm like.
Listen, you ain't talking about me. You talking about Umar. So
I appreciate that. I just don't. Some women don't want their husband nowhere near around any of that, but yeah, he likes that couple, like his Cherry's couple, and then he likes the massage.
What okay. I understand what you're saying.
He liked the prostate exam while she playing with his balls.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
But not like just not by itself. It's like like in unison type.
Okay. And did he verbalize that to you?
No, but he pushes his hand and scoots up, like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
He'll push your hand, like, take your hand. Because I thought you might like, I saw in this one thing where guys like to take it out of their mouth and put it in your mouth. Like, the guy wants to do it, not you do it. The guy wants to take it out of your mouth and then put it back in your mouth.
Okay.
What the
Well, he
fuck?
likes to, he will put your hands where he wants your hands to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll know, like.
Yeah, but that's interesting because there was a woman, this was many years ago.
I don't know what the fuck she just
described. She talked about how this is when he had his own apartment.
Yeah.
How he was like a child. He was very much like a child in that at a certain point he was sitting on the couch. He also it was real filthy in there too. But he was sitting on the couch and told her to come over. And it was no, he wasn't on the couch. She was sitting on the couch, and then he comes over and sits in front of her, and then reaches back and takes her hands and puts it on her his shoulders, and then on his shoulders to have her like massage. But it was more like he was a child trying to get affection. So this idea of him taking hands and putting And when he had the wreck, I will say this: I massaged him most of. I had this Nivea. It's like Aqua 4. It's like some lotion. It was like super hydrating. But I put that on him, and I was rubbing him down with it. He's a baby. Like he's like not rubbing him like all his body, but like his top body, because he said his shoulder was hurt. He kept talking about his hand hurts, my shoulder hurts, my hand hurts, my shoulder hurts.
All us men like
rubbed
that.
him down with that. He loves being massaged. Like he'll go.
All us like that shit. What the fuck? That ain't strange.
Sleep on it, everything.
So why do you say he's like
You will put your hands on him.
What do you mean by he's like a baby? What does that mean?
He's very infantile. He's very infantile in some respects. He's giddy in other. Like if he's having a really good time, he'll be infantile in one respect, and then he'll be like giddy. Like when the food comes, he's dancing. You know how people are really like in a good mood. And then if he's really, really comfortable, I knew that the butt play stuff, it was never on the table until after Atlanta. Atlanta was like a whole new him. I don't know what happened, but he was like, he must have been thinking about some things he wanted to do because he was like a whole different person.
Or maybe he was down there doing those things. Yeah.
Yeah, or no, right? But he likes for you to lay on the bed, like lay across, and he'll stand on the other end, and then he likes head like that. Yeah.
What?
He likes to stand up, get in head. He doesn't like laying down, and he likes standing up. And that's why he kept falling into the wall. I was like, look, bro, just sit down because we're not going to be able to get this done. He's real tender. He's a tender dumpling.
I don't even know what you mean.
You know, some people are just tender when they're afterwards. Like, he's really tender. Like, you don't want to be like, he's tender. He's very tender.
I don't know what you mean by that. I'm sorry.
Like sensitive. Yeah, he's sensitive. He doesn't like being, like, you can't, like, if he finishes, if he's done, if he came, then you can't keep going because he can't take it.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. All right. I never heard that before. That's interesting. Okay, we don't need that.
Like, get us, yeah, I don't know. But, and he'll take your hands if he wants to, and see, that's another thing. When we first started linking, I was in control of everything. He wasn't forward. He wasn't like, it was almost like he was scared of me or whatever.
Well, you did he was awkward.
He was very awkward. I was like, man, you're supposed to. And then I was watching the comments. I was like, oh, these girls love him. You know, he got a reputation or something. And then when I got him out, the first time we did it, I was like, oh, okay. I was really blown away with the size. I didn't expect it. Yeah, I can't come on and say, you know, he's packing, but he doesn't have the motion. Like he's not like somebody who knows they're packing. So that was that. And then he's very awkward with like, what you want me to do? Do you want me to lay down and sit back, or what do you want? How do you do this? And I'm like, just let me do everything. And that kind of made me more confident because I felt like I know what I'm like this, you know, like sex goddess, which I'm not that experienced either. But I did my work, you know, research, whatever. But we had a better time the second time. The second time was like, okay, what he liked. And then he got more and more loose. So then it got to the point where I would text him, I'd be like, hey, sexy. And then he would be like, are you in Philly? And I was like, no, I'm just saying hello. He was like waiting for me. I think that was his way of saying, come back.
Yeah.
Even when we fell out the last time, he called me an evil demon. I was like, well, maybe he wants me to come out there after things got cool again. And he wouldn't say it, but he would hint around to it. I was like, well, just give me a date and I'll be on the way out there. But he didn't give the date. So I was like, oh, well, and I kept on moving on. But he kept wanting booty pictures. He's like obsessed with my butt. He wants my butt. So, yeah. So I just I sent the pictures. He was ready to set a date. He was like, when are you going to eat your man up? That's how we got to that. Because somebody said that, and I was like, well, I'm the original person. And he was like, yeah, you are. Keep. And then when I came back out, we moved on from that. But when I came back out, he was just like, he was used to me. And he loosened up. He was ready to start. He was messing with me in the elevator, which was strange because I was like, hey, that's not here. Because he's always talking about being incognito. So he all the way from the elevator, all the way to the room. I think I even got the room wrong. So we had to go a little bit further down. He was very outward, where before he didn't really want anybody to know that, you know, I was there for him like the other trips. But when I came up for his mother, he was like, get up and give me a hug. Because I didn't get up when he came in. He was like, get up and give me my hug. And I'm about to leave. So he gave me a hug, smacked me on the butt. I think that was to let the people in the hotel know that I was there with him, which was very disheartening. The guy noticed him. He dapped the guy up.
Klay Thompson was hooping at some open runs with D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, shit. I had the wrong button.
Back and forth. And then he was like, quit talking to people and go to your room. And I was like, I'm going up there. I got to get, my stuff. And I got upstairs. But then he came, it's like every time he come back, he was like getting more and more interested and not more and more interested, but more and more loosened up. And I don't know if it was the text messages, but he was trying to get me towards something. I don't know where we were going. I already shot down anal. We're not going to be able to do anal because he's not as long. He's long, but he's also very wide. He's pretty wide. And so I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not gonna happen. So then we just kept going on and he got more and more comfortable and we just started messing around, playing around, doing different things. I wasn't really all that shocked about the booty play because I know I was reading something that said that their nerve endings are at the rectum, but he wanted that played with. He just took my hand and he put it there.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because things that he said about Tariq Nasheed, even he said he called me it's the booty. I'm not gonna say it, but it's the booty then there's a B word after that.
Booty
bandit.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's almost like he's projecting. You know.
Yeah. He wanted somebody. I think he wanted somebody safe to play with, and I was okay with doing it because some things, like what we talked about, but because I don't have a lot of experience either, I don't have a really high body count. I don't, I sat down for most of my kids' life. I never had no, raging 20s. Like, so I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get in there and get it done. Like, and I thought maybe it would develop into something like emotionally, maybe that it did for him. It did a little bit for me too, but it's not like the actions. Like I even had to tell him about tact. Like he was about to leave. I said, "Hey, we just got through doing all it is. Say goodbye, give a hug, say something." And he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." He came back. I don't think certain things just dawn on him. He's and that's why I was asking about autism. He's very cut and dry. I was like, you're not supposed to be like that. You don't dismount off a woman and just be like, we're not doing that. If you want that type of situation, then yeah, I gotta find somebody else because this is my relaxation. We're not doing that. And then you want me to massage you, and he just wants to be adorned. He wants to be like worshipped. He wants everything to be about him. He's not concerned if you are pleasured, or anything like that. He's not that type of person in bed. The oral sex from him is like that,
She is just
Okay.
sorry.
Ma'am, you didn't already gave him $1 million worth of endorsements the last 5 minutes. Don't care if his head game is good now. You done already gave him a ringing endorsement.
I thought of it, it wasn't. I was okay with just like, but he's horrible at it.
Okay.
He's horrible.
Okay. All right. This video is definitely going to get demonetized.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Listen, it got demonetized like about 2 hours ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm not like I just.
No, it's
I'm
perfectly
sorry.
fine. It's perfectly fine because
It's all medically, it's
That video is not going to be demonetized.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Okay, just 2 more questions here. Did Umar ever talk about Tiff to Griff to you?
Yeah, he did. He didn't like her. He didn't like her. He said, I knew, what was that? I think it was going to the last time, he was like, I think that's who he was talking about when, because he was sitting in a chair and he was eating something, and we were talking about zodiacs, and he was like, yeah, he said they talk too damn much. And I said,
I want to hear the end.
Gemini.
I want to hear the last question. They 5 hours in.
He said, no, not
We
you.
got to do a whole.
Like, I had
We're going to get to this shit tomorrow.
Before,
this
and
is
I was
crazy.
Like, uh-oh. And he was like, no, she just talked too damn much. And then I said, that's who you were talking about, Tip to Grip.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Information.
Somebody called it, man, Turd Fingers Tunde.
Did you ever consider
Fingers Tunde.
elder abuse with his mother? And if not, why not?
I did, but I wanted to exhaust all possibilities. I'm not for weaponizing things like that against family members. And he might have just came in like for what I've done in the past. Like there's a lot of DV situations I would have went into. I would have hotlined the hell out of that mama. Like really, but I know she's not in her. She's battling a big problem. Like, how could you let this man?
Yeah, I think we definitely got to see what Turd Finger Tunde got to say tomorrow. We got to hear him go the fuck off before we get to hers. We got to. I'm gonna be checking the shit out of IG tomorrow because that's where he be talking his shit. I'm gonna have to screen record him because he be putting them motherfuckers on private.
Take beer money and go get drunk, and your kids are having AIDS, but they're not in. You can't shame somebody, trying to help them out of a situation. They're just making a series of bad decisions, and it would kill me. If that got out, it would kill me helping anybody else going forward. Like, yeah, don't call her. She don't.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So I do the best that I can in a situation with him. I try to talk to him first, and I have all of the text messages. I thought I could make a good enough argument he would see reasoning, but I think he took my reasoning as, oh yeah, you can't go back into space no more. Like you done said too much, you done stepped on, like no, I can't put you. And that's when we got to here. I told him to stop putting people in my space. I need some kind of, not that I need, but I would have wanted to follow up on what was going on with his mom. He wouldn't even offer any information like mom's good or, anything. So I was like, yeah, he's not changing.
And then the last question out of the chat, and thanks everyone who sent in super chats. I'm gonna after I'm done with these questions, I'll go through the other super chats where there's not questions, it's just comments. The last question for you from the Cookie Crush chat was: do you think he worked for the FBI?
By the way he changes things, like he's a revolutionary like in front of people, and then he switches up. I don't think that the FBI would really consider him. Maybe
I think he would be a liability.
He doesn't have this.
Also, his intellect useful in some spaces. Instead of just putting him in, and he might have scammed and got caught up in it, and then they're using him to bust or take down. Because you see, we have a lot of shit going on in the conscious community, and he don't have no problem snitching on nobody.
Yeah.
But he will tell you it's messy if you do it on him. He didn't have any problems, like when I told him about things that were going on in my job. And I was like, well, I'll just tell you later, because I'm on government grounds and we can't talk about certain things on government ground. That's, it's a hatch violation. He didn't have any, like, he wasn't like, oh, girl, come on, it's me type, you know what I mean? Which I wouldn't have fell for it anyway, but he seems like very, I know this is gonna sound crazy. This is the only reason why I'm entertaining the FBI thing or being an informant. he is very much on board with the rules, but he also breaks the rules. You know what I'm saying? Like he'll reprimand somebody if they do something sideways or they smoke, marijuana or something like that. But he will also engage and do other things. I don't know. It's like a split. It's like a split.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I wouldn't think that I've seen them do some things with hackers where they put them to work versus just giving them jail time and letting that go unchecked. But I don't, and maybe he is to infiltrate the conscious community and maybe even persuade things to go a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. One last question that just came in. This is from Vix. What does he call Tiff the Grip? Does he have any particular name? Because he doesn't like her, but is there any name that he called her?
He didn't talk about her. None of these women, none of these women he talked about. I think that was the only scenario. The girls in the UNI, Tiff the Grip must have did something that to move against him. He never talked about Ann because he never talked about any of these women. I asked him about her after finding out, your videos and stuff. He never talked about any of them. Mm-hmm. He didn't even tell and still hasn't said anything about the girl that threw the lotion bag. I know he knows who that is.
Yeah.
I know him just by watching him and that, and the fact that he got loud, like he was trying to be funny, he got loud. That's like a form of deflection. Tiff, he did say something about, but I think that's because something happened. But other than that, he's been very quiet to me about the other girls.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, listen. Thank you so much for your time. Yes. I do have other questions. If in the future you want to come on for follow-up questions, let me just say it this way. Anytime you want to come on, you're welcome to come on. Okay. All right. Again, everyone.
He said coming soon to IG Live. I can't wait.
Iconic Moguls, which is $I.
She don't look like that picture. Umar was hitting that old pussy.
If you want to support this sister, very courageous what you're doing. And I just want to say that Umar, he brought this on himself because ultimately, if he had handled this like a man,
Umar was hitting that old pussy. He put this gen up on the page. He was like, she got a big booty. She an old queen. She an old dick eater. Oh, wait. Let me make sure this nigga ain't dead. No, let me go to his video section. I don't think he did no judge badge. That was 2 days ago. So he been seeing this shit was going on. And he was he ready. He probably gonna wake up first thing in the morning talking shit. I don't blame him. She ain't gave 1/10 fuck on. The only thing I can think of is she said he blocked her son. And that was probably after he was done with you. Yeah, I don't see it's just old self-promo. I'm gonna be on top of whenever this Negro decides to respond back to her and Lennon. I'm gonna be there. And we're gonna finish this because that's the date. I think we just listened to about 45 minutes of a 5-hour live, so we got to get caught up. It's my third live for the day. This is 3. Well, I mean, like 6 hours. 6 hours of live, man. Well, 7, but whatever. To the next episode, we out. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot this bitch ass with the quickness. Now he bleeding, sorry, begging, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. All my niggas wildin', they done labeled us a misfit. Wake up every morning, 2 or 3, 5 in the tidbit. Oh shit, did nobody come to see you old? It's some focus. Shoot 100 shots, no reloaded. Master of the game, you would think I'm into coding. Memphis niggas spit this pimpin', mackin' like I'm golden. Ho, with my money, you gon' turn me to the old me. Say hi, first class flight, I'm in the nosebleed. Hop it, cook it, whip it, ship it till you count the proceeds. OG, I've been moving pack niggas since 03. Low key, niggas hating, but they don't want no beef. State gang, true sippers, bitch, I bet we gon' eat. Get jammed, get a lawyer, make it bunny, don't speak. Pour up, oh, I need some more, nigga had a long week. Shout out to my plug, he showed me love, he out in Long Beach, I'm true geek. Walking by myself, but left with 2 freaks. Ooh, we, nothing in they mouth and on they booty. Austin Power swag, yeah, baby, this is groovy. You can call me Money Boy, or you can call me Nudie. Hood niggas, churches, chicken, let me get a 2-piece. Top down, 2-seater, let me feel the 2 breathe. Gotta hold it steady, chopper, kick it back like Bruce Lee. Lately I've been in the zone, I guess I'm in my 2-3. Don't call my phone for nothing less than a QP. Feeling like the Migos, cause my bitch is bad and bougie. All my haters love me, all these bitches just some groupies. Came a long way, I like to introduce the new me. Standing on business like I'm king or like I'm Drewski. Call me Run Island cause I like my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. Call me Run Island cause I love my love for choosy. When we link it's a movie, she bustin' like a Uzi. I love the way she do me, I beat it up like Uzi. She dancing just like Suki. I never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Niggas talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit. Never been a hoe, I stay on go, so what the business? Nigga talking reckless, shoot his bitch ass with the quickness. Name pleading, sorry baby, asking for forgiveness. Bow, 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 limp biscuit.